I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
We just killed those fucking men.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lomito! You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
All right. Hello, welcome everybody to another BD Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. It's a good friend, Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad. That's right, sure I'm glad that everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. In this episode, as promised, second episode centered around the fantastic Beterbiev Bivol fight that we got coming up this Saturday. And initially, I wanted to do a film analysis. Now, I didn't have time to gather a bunch of clips, although I do have essentially the clips that I use when I analyze fights in my own personal time, so maybe I can use those if we have enough time today. For the moment, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing our classic, patented comparative analysis where we look at each guy's strengths and we try to figure out who has, for example, the better jab, the better footwork, faster hands, and so on and so forth. All right, though, before we get down to that, let's give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. Eparakua, Rapak Striking Company, 10-4. One of the initiated, the Gucci Berserk, Quick Sloth, Sergeant, Grim Reaper, Jean Ryu Jr. 33, Dark Heido, another one of the initiated, Soul Passive Live. We got Sergeant in there, Alfredo Contreras, Eparokua, Steph K's Boxing Science, aka Official Scorecard Boxing, and make sure you go check out his new film analysis, in-depth film analysis. About Artur Beterbiev and some of the tricks of the trade that he employs, especially as it pertains to footwork and how to control people in the mid-range with his gloves. So make sure to check that one out. It's over at BDA Clips. Let's see if it comes up here. BDA Boxing Clips, excuse me. And if you go there, you can see we're starting to populate it now with more videos. And it's the first video here, Artur Beterbiev in-depth study by Steph K Boxing. That's, of course, Official Scorecard Boxing. So make sure to check it out. And we cover all your Bivol Beterbiev needs over here at the BD Boxing organization. Now, I want to say, too, before we continue to the fun, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe if you yet to do so already. Don't forget, if you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so with the Super Chat feature. Although it's always better if you join the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck, and you continue to fund this independent, hard-hitting operation that we've got going. But the most important thing, like I said, is to continue to like, subscribe. Now, don't forget, you can finally also check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and Spreaker at your leisure. All right. Now, with that being said, let me invite a couple of people over here because we do have, whatchamacallit. We're going to be talking about who has the intangibles in this fight to win. So let me invite a couple of people over here. Hey, what's going on? Okay. Who else we got? King KO. Shout out to King KO. Quick Sloth. Frank Bay in there as well. Team Batman Boxing. Alejandro Solis. Josh. And many more people to come. I'm sure, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. So we got Jimmy jumping in here. Jimmy.
Yo.
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Good to have you on board. Just doing a little show here. We're going to be doing our classic comparative analysis thing that we always do, where we put up on the screen who has the better jab, the better right hand, uppercut, whatever, as it pertains to, of course, Bivol, Beterbiev. Now, you were MIA yesterday. I'm not going to ask you what you were doing because that's your business, but I suspect it had something to do, something malicious that I'm not going to get into.
I didn't know you had a show yesterday. God damn it.
I mean, you don't get the invites or anything? You don't get the notifications either?
No.
It sounds to me like you don't want to get them. I think that's what it's an issue.
Yeah, it sounds to me like I'm being pushed the fuck out the door, man. It's all good. It's all good.
This is the group that I created yesterday, and you can see you're on there. So I don't know what's going on, Jimmy. You're starting to get lackadaisical.
All right. I'm going to hang up and set up my headphones so you can hear me better. I can hear you better.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, fantastic. All right. Now, in the meantime, before people start getting here, I want to say a big announcement. The Fury Usyk rematch card, if it even happens, because I was talking with Jimmy about that. We don't even know if that's going to happen. But if indeed it comes through, they've already set up the undercard. And you've got, first of all, the one that's apparent here, Bohashak taking on Israel Majumov. Can you believe it, fellas? This is how boxing should be done. You got two guys coming off losses that a lot of people feel should have been wins, and they're fighting each other. I mean, that's fantastic. But then the undercard gets a little bit more diluted. Moses Aituma taking on Dempsey McKean, who's coming off a loss to... who did he just lose to by knockout? Hrgovic, I think, right? Or is that Johnny Fisher? I think Johnny Fisher lost to Hrgovic, and then you got Dempsey McKean also coming off a loss. So, it's late. They're layups for the prospects coming up. But the one that I'm looking forward to, of course, Bohashak Madrimov, and of course Fury Usyk, because I do believe Fury has a very good chance of pulling off a win here. Or worst case scenario, he still gives a good account that way he did in the first fight, and it's an entertaining fight. So I'm looking forward to that one. But Jimmy, like I was telling people, who knows if that rematch ever occurs? I don't know. A little skeptical. A little bit. All right, so before we get on to this comparative analysis, Jimmy, do you want to give your pick about who's winning this Saturday between Beterbiev and Bivol? I don't know if you're trying to speak, Jimmy, but I can't hear you. I cannot hear you. I don't see your icon lighting up. I don't know if you can hear me. We're getting off to a bad start here. Let me read a couple of comments here before we continue. What are people saying? Fury lost that fight, the back half of that fight. Uzi killed it, says Apurukua. Alan says, we know Jimmy's pick. Do you? I don't think you do. Let's bet on it. I'm starting to become a gambling addict. Or I want to become a gambling addict. And what better day than to start than today? Why leave it for tomorrow? Shout out to Raphael, says Beterbiev. Team Madman Boxing says Beterbiev taking him out, but much respect to both champions, just the way I see it. Josh says also Kate Bivol is hot. Didn't she just marry what's his name? The guy who's training Deontay Wilder, Malik Scott. I think didn't she just marry that dude? I suspect. Listen, if you're attracted to her and you're a fan of pornography, I suspect she might be doing OnlyFans with him one of these days. You just never know what people get into nowadays. Shout out to Earl Stevens for his contribution with the super chat. Shout out to Earl. And Earl says, put me down, Bivol by decision, straight punches, key to victory. All right. I got a prediction from Earl Stevens. Hold on a second. So he said, Earl Stevens. There's another Earl, by the way. So I gotta put in the last name there. I think it was Earl the Goat Fucker, unless I'm mistaken with somebody else. So Earl said, put me down, Bivol decision. Okay, Bivol. I thought he said Beterbiev. Bivol decision, straight punches equal key. All right. What the fuck? All right. Yeah, I got the microphone in front of my the keyboard, so I don't see. I should really start. I tried practicing writing like a secretary. When you're supposed to just look up and your left brain and your right brain take over, and they know exactly where each key is. I haven't gotten completely accustomed to that, and I've been using a computer for the latter part of the last 20-something years. Yeah, 20-something years. So I don't understand how that's working. Now Jimmy's MIA. I suspect he's having tech problems. We're going to wait around for that. In the meantime, I also want to talk about the Joe Smith. So yesterday I was sort of mocking a little bit some of these past Beterbiev opponents for dismissing him and not really wanting to give him the credit that he deserves. They almost always make excuses about why they lost, but which is, comes with the game, as Floyd Mayweather would say. He would say it comes with the territory. Seldom will a fighter admit that he lost outright, because that would signify that he wasn't good enough. But if he makes an excuse, well, then there's always a possibility that if I trained it properly, or if I change this, or if I do that, then I can beat him, and I really am the best. You got to remember, a lot of these guys, they don't fight to become second best, third best. They want to be the best. So losing, it's kind of a shock to them. So anyway, Joe Smith was saying that there were some things going on in the build-up to the Beterbiev fight, but then he said no excuses. Well, Ring TV just recently asked him for his opinion on the Bivol Beterbiev fight, since he fought both guys. And now he was a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Level-headed. He says, in regards to the fight, it's definitely a great fight. Okay, we know that. In my opinion, they're two of the best fighters. Okay, we already know that. He says, I did hurt Bivol with one shot, but he won 12 rounds with him. With Beterbiev, I did land some decent shots early on, but the fight ended quickly. Laughter. Now, I have to correct him a little bit here. He hurt Bivol twice in that fight. It wasn't just once. It was once in the 4th and once in the 9th or 10th, I want to say. I got the clips right here. We have to go back to them. Then he says that it's essentially Beterbiev methodically breaking people down versus Bivol's boxing skills. And he says that's exactly how I see things. They've got so many abilities. It's definitely going to be a great fight to watch, and it could definitely go either way. Beterbiev does break you down and get you out of there. But Bivol will break you down in a different way, with numerous punches and getting you frustrated because you can't hit him back. And you know what? That's an interesting key point that he made there, because yesterday when we were talking about the fight, I said that Bivol is essentially a pressure fighter. And not that he's pressing you or backing you up necessarily, but in the sense that he's always doing something to create stress within his opponent, chaos, in other words. He's either moving in and out, he's punching from all angles with his shots, whether he's jamming to the body or jabbing upstairs or leaning with the left foot and then boom, popping a right. It's very disconcerting not knowing when he's going to go on the attack. But at the same time, it's, he's going to be fighting a guy who can do that as well. He can fight, Beterbiev can fight backing up, but he also fights coming forward. And that's going to be a very interesting point here to make. Now, I see we got Frank jumping in here. Frankie, are you there? Can you hear me? Now, I don't know now if it's on my end, because I know Jimmy just disappeared. I think he was having trouble.
You hear me?
Whoa, okay. You got to take down, lower the volume a little bit, man. It's too hot.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, is that better?
A little bit more, a little more.
All right. There?
A little more, just a little more.
Okay. I'm going to have to... Is that better?
A little bit. Hey, did I see you did a show yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
At what time did you do it?
Really late at night, like about 11 West Coast time.
Oh, okay. That's why. Yeah, that's why when I was on the Discord, it said 2 a.m. I said, what the fuck's Frank doing? Did you drink too much coffee and you couldn't sleep or something? Or what happened?
Yeah, I did. And I did that, talked about Bud Crawford and Tio going back and forth. Kind of more of a late night show, can get a little more racy.
Ah, okay. So it's a Frank Bay at night show, after dark. Frank Bay after dark.
Yeah. After dark, exactly.
I was watching a little bit of it, and it's amazing to me, Frank, how, we're going to talk about the Beterbiev Bivol fight, and I know you cover all aspects of boxing, but on Twitter, a lot of people are, a lot of accounts, and I'm not going to name names because why criticize them when I don't want to start anything, but I see a lot of people talking about the Crawford-Teofimo Lopez thing instead of focusing on this fight. It's a fantastic fight. I know it's two Russians, so most Americans probably don't really care about them, especially since it's not talking about shooting each other or catching each other at the grocery store. But I mean, it's a fantastic fight, and it's a little disappointing to see some people out there not really focusing on it. What are your thoughts on that?
It's exactly what you said. It's two Russians, and nobody knew who Bivol was before Canelo Alvarez. I mean, do they even know who he is now? He hasn't really. After the Canelo Alvarez fight, what did he really do?
Yeah, he sort of lingered. He lingered.
Yeah, and his fights were criticized as being boring.
Well, you know what? How would you describe his style? Would you say he's boring? Would you characterize it as such?
It's the sweet science, man. I mean, he exemplifies sweet science. He doesn't back for a bitch. It's just, people want to see you go for it. They want to see, if you have an opportunity, you need to go for the knockout.
Right. Well, I'll say this. But Bivol is not exactly, he's not a back foot bitch. He doesn't fight in the ass style because he's not running around, leaping around the ring like a rabbit and clinching every 2 seconds. So I wouldn't characterize him necessarily as a guy as that boring, but he's boring in the sense that he's mundane. Most of the fight, if you fast forward either to the 6th round, 7th round, 2nd round, they look sort of the same. Now, of course, there are exceptions. When he fought Lyndon Arthur, he was a little bit more aggressive. And when he fought Gaddafi in the last fight, he was definitely more aggressive. Sort of, I think because he saw, okay, this guy's dangerous. If I stay on the outside with him too much, you never know. He probably catches me with something. So I gotta make sure I take him out of there. But for the most part, if you look at most of his fights, whether it's against Chilemba, Jean Pascal, Canelo, Castillo, Lyndon Arthur, not Lyndon Arthur, what was the guy's name? The black dude he fought during the pandemic. Let me look up his name. But anyway, those fights, they sort of look the same, round after round.
He had the big fight with Zerto, and he was extremely dominant. And I guess you could blame Zerto, but it was, people got really excited, but it didn't really, wet the chops, as they say. It was kind of like, and look, people forgot about it.
Yeah. And by the way, I forgot to mention too, the Salamov fight and the Craig Richards fight. They all sort of look the same. But you're right, though. Yeah, it's people after you're right. After the Canelo fight, he's sort of like, whoa, he beat a guy that was in the top 3 pound for pound. And then he just sort of fizzled out. And I suspect it probably had something to do with what he said, which is he was having some problems. Now we know he was having problems with the missus, who's going Max Cady.
And that's what his wife said. Mm-hmm. Then he had some injuries, and he probably went on a little binge. But that that's expected, man. Like why hate on the guy?
Exactly.
Like don't be a nag.
Don't be a nag. By the way, we got Never Solvers jumping in. Solvers, how's it going with Bivol's wife? Have you managed to contact her to get an exclusive interview? Or
I got that follow, bro.
That's the first step.
Show the pics. I've seen the pics you posted. Have BDA show the pics. She's looking pretty.
You know what I like about a girl like her? She's good looking, she's got a pretty face, and she wears glasses. Mm-hmm. So I have always, in my experience at least, whenever a pretty woman wears glasses, an attractive woman, it's almost like, what are you trying to tell us here? She's trying to play up the librarian.
She's entering her whole era, BDA.
That's what that's what it is, right? She's entering the
I'm send you some pictures, bro. She got a new tattoo on her titty.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? She's sharing it. She's out here, bro. She's single. She's trying to fuck.
Now these are Now I can't post these pictures. Yeah, I can't post these pictures on the air just because it's a family show. But essentially, I'm going to describe it to you, fellas, and don't get hard while I'm describing it because that would be weird. But she's got some sort of like a trench coat on, half open, and she's got nothing underneath, so you can see the outline of her tits. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. First of all, these photographs look professionally shot, and maybe even touched up a little bit. She's got kids. She's still married. Well, no, she's technically recently divorced, right? And she's going around taking these type of photos and parading her tits out. I don't know, guys. This isn't the Russian way. She's Russian, right?
She's Russian. She said she wanted to live in Russia. That's why the whole breakup was about. She wanted to be more. She's like a traditional woman. Wanted to be around her family.
Traditional.
The usual garbage.
This is traditional for you.
Motherfucker's money, bro.
This is traditional for you. The pictures that you send me here.
She's a traditional, like Jimmy would say, hoo-ah.
Let me tell you, if I were Bivol, I would call some of my contacts, probably try to get the Kremlin on the line, and I would send her to Gulag, re-education camp, so that she becomes a proper woman. That's what I think.
I agree, bro. But this is a brave new world, BDA, and how a woman celebrates her being single is she gets a tattoo on her titty. She does a topless shoot.
Now wait a minute. I have to ask. How do you know it's a new tattoo? Have you been looking at her tits all year long, or?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked, BDA, because I am a connoisseur of tatuajes, placazos, so to speak. So if you look at the picture I sent you, bro, if you look closely around her chest, you'll see the outline. You'll barely see the tattoo, but what you'll see more clearer is the fake skin they put over it, like the I forgot what the freak is called, but it's like it's like saran wrap kind of. It sticks to your skin, and you put it over the tattoo. It looks like plastic. You can see the glimmer, like she just got it. That's a fresh tattoo. You know what I mean?
All right, so there you go. Never
she has it on her chest, right around her nipples.
There's a method to Never Silver's madness. Not a lot of method, but there's a method. So let's not get it twisted. All right, so listen, I really want to talk about this Bivol Beterbiev fight. I'm waiting for Jimmy to show up, but I suspect that I don't know. He was having trouble with his headphones, and then he just disappeared. I hope I wasn't ribbing him too hard, because I was sort of joking around about he didn't show up yesterday. Hopefully, he's not telling me to go fuck myself this way. You know what? I'm going to invite Official Scorecard Boxing too. Let's see if he wants to show up. And because we need people for this segment of the show where we're going to be doing the comparative analysis part of the show. But what else was I going to say about this? All right, so yeah, okay. So Bivol coming into this fight, I'm going to check the odds. What are the odds for this fight?
I heard the money's coming on Bivol. It's starting to come more on Bivol. He's starting to become a more clear favorite. Interesting. I would have thought that the bookies would go with Beterbiev. I know a lot of people. I was doing the rounds on message boards and all that. A lot of people are going with Beterbiev, and I suspect a lot of them say, "Well, it's because he's just too strong and hits too hard." So definitely, people are focusing a lot on the power, which is dangerous to do sometimes. But according to DraftKings, we see here that Bivol is a slight favorite. Huh? Do the bookies know something about
what
injury?
I'm seeing,
yeah.
It looks like a lot of the trainers are picking Bivol. Fighters are going with Bivol because it's the classic boxer. Most people, in my opinion, when I look around, they always tend to go with the boxer more.
Yeah, you know what? You just made me think that. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I see we got Official, by the way, jumping in here. Official, good to have you on board, man.
Thank you, BDA. Hello, Frank. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you fantastic, man.
So we can hear you.
Yeah, those videos.
Nice.
Those videos you did breaking down the footwork of Beterbiev, fantastic, by the way, as always. Got to give you your props on that. I just want to remind people that if you want to go see it, it's over at BD Boxing Clips or secondary channel. It's called Arthur Beterbiev In-Depth Study. But I tell you what, despite your expertise and despite your knowledge, it's time to make a pick. You can't weasel your way out of it. Not that you would, but I'm just saying I'm putting people against the wall, as it were.
Man, but I cannot because I need to watch a few of Bivol's fights. That's the thing. I really haven't decided yet. It's kind of the same thing like UBDA. My instincts are telling me Beterbiev. I'm favoring him slightly, but I need to see how Bivol reacts in certain specific situations. Because look, he's not one-punch knockout artist or anything like that. We all know it, but in case he realizes that he needs to use his a high level output, I think that he can surprise many people. And I saw many interesting things in his last fight against Zinad. I mean, I hope I will be able to make another short video. But I can talk about, I can say a lot about this fight, about the matchup, but I'm really telling you, I'm not ready to give a prediction because I have to watch more of Bivol, which I haven't done in a while.
Well, that's all fine and fantastic, but I'm asking for a pick.
Kick him out of here, BDA.
Yeah, kick him out of here, bro. No, all right, I got you. But listen, I will be expecting a prediction, official prediction before the fight. I don't want you. Let's say Beterbiev is kicking the shit out of Bivol, and then in the 6th round you go, hey, by the way, I think I'm gonna pick Beterbiev. No, none of that. I want to pick.
Yeah. But see, BDA, the thing with what I really want to see with Bivol is, look, I guess it's the same thing for all of you guys. He kind of looks, gives you an impression of being kind of fragile because he's moving, he's getting hurt to the body upstairs. He is very careful, not overly offensive. But on the other hand, what can save him is what can he use. In some ways, it can be kind of defense against aggressive fighter like Beterbiev, methodically aggressive like Beterbiev. His punch output activity, if he ups it and keeps his volume very high, I think that it can really prevent Beterbiev from stepping in. And despite Beterbiev being like a cement block and being physically very strong, strongest in his division, I don't think that he will be eating up Bivol's punches like it was nothing. So, and like I show in the video clip that I made that you uploaded, he's really bothered by high output with combos.
Well, I mean, that's what's his name? Bivol's bread and butter. So, I mean, if he goes in there, I want to say something about the combos later on, though. But that's certainly something that he could do to just flood the offense and keep Beterbiev with his guard up for most of the fight. Now, I see John Gonzalez has crawled his way into the chat, and he says, I'm questioning my Beterbiev pick now that betting sites have Bivol as a favorite. They know something behind the scenes. Well, first of all, that's how easily manipulated John Gonzalez is. That's how easily it is to influence him. The bookies say one thing, and all of a sudden he has to bet the whole farm on who they tell him to. Hey, John, grow a spine. How about that? You don't know what you think they know something behind the scenes. I know something about you for a fact. You got no spine. Grow a pair, man.
Mr. BDA,
yeah.
Mr. BDA, I'm wondering how little Brianna was able to influence him, probably just as easily as bookmakers.
You know what? That's an excellent point. Little Brianna was manipulating him sexually. I think we gotta really, we really gotta we gotta reinforce John Gonzalez's defenses because I don't like how it's going right nowadays. Nobody messes with John Gonzalez, not on my watch. By the way, Recognize the Matrix. Shout out to Recognize for his contribution with the super chat. Shout out to you, Recognize. Hopefully you can jump on the show. And he says, Bivol is a puncher, darts in and out, looking to overwhelm you with volume. Beterbiev is a KO artist, mixing up combos, body headshots, walking his opponents into traps. Absolutely. That's what it is. They're actually very similar on offense. They can do a whole bunch with their offense, but it just so happens that one guy hits harder than the other. So shout out to Recognize. Hopefully everything's A-OK over there in Florida, where he's at. The middle of the storm.
Yeah, one of the worst things I ever see in boxing. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, is when you see these classic punchers versus boxers, I hate, I think it happened with Canelo is the puncher tries to outbox the boxer. And that's what it looked like Zerto had tried to do. He's like, I'm going to outbox the boxer. Like, no, man, go in there and kick his ass. Like, be yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing about Zurdo. I obviously thought he was a long shot to beat Bivol. It really gave him very little chance to do something in there. And you're right. Ever since he moved up to light heavyweight, he's been trying to be this boxer. And you're too slow, both mentally and physically. You're not going to be who was the last guy he outboxed? This Joe Smith, right? Or no, who was it? What was his last fight? Let me check. I forget who he outboxed. He outboxed a strong guy, his last fight, I believe. And now he's fighting another strong dude at cruiserweight. He fought, Arsen. Yeah, Arsen Goulamirian or whatever.
He said,
Hey, by the way, I just got an avast alert as I'm trying to go to BoxRec. What the fuck? So now on top of everything that they do when they ask you to sign up after you browse 4 names, now they got viruses on that? They're trying to get my porn history. What's going on here?
They're trying to give you a tornado virus.
That tornado. Is that a real thing?
Yeah, bro.
All right.
When you click on the hub too many times.
Okay, I got you. But yeah, okay. So Zurdo Ramirez, yeah, he took on Arsen, and now he's fighting another the dude that just beat the long-limbed Brit. But anyway, this is about the light heavyweights. All right, so listen, I don't know if Jim is ever going to show up, so I might as well get this started now. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night. Let's go to the comparative analysis. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. And I'm sharing the screen with you guys, so you can check that out there as well. Where is it? All right. So let's start with accuracy. Precision. Who is the more precise puncher in this scenario?
I would give it to Bivol.
All right, Sober's going with Bivol.
Well, I'm going to be a contrarian because, a lot of people have pointed out that Beterbiev is very accurate on the back of the head.
All right, so I thought you were going you got me with that one. Official, what about you, man?
Another tough pick because Beterbiev himself is accurate with his counters, great timing. While Bivol, he throws a bigger volume of punches. I would say tough. Let's edge it to Bivol.
All right, so we got 2 Bivols, and I guess Frankie Boy was going with Bivol as well with his one, with his pick. But yeah, it's Beterbiev is a very accurate guy. I guess what Official brought up is the fact that Bivol throws punches in bunches. So one could make the argument that that's his trick of landing the 1 shot or 2 shots, is that he launches 5 or 6 so he can land 2. So does that mean that he really is that accurate, but at the same time he's landing what he wants? So I guess that is accurate, being accurate. I don't know. This is a difficult one to me, but I'm going to have to go with democracy here, and I'm going to agree with you guys, and we're going to edge it. Again, just because we pick one guy here doesn't mean that the other one doesn't, he's lost completely in this department. It just so happens that Bivol edges it. I think that's fair to say. All right. Now let's go on to perhaps the most important punch in boxing, the jab. Who has the superior jab in this fight?
I'm going to go with Bivol just because his jab sets up the range. It looks like Beterbiev, one of his problems that I've seen is getting in range. He gets pieced up trying to get inside, whereas Bivol, his whole game revolves around setting his range. Once he knows, basically when he fought Zurdo, I'm going to keep bringing that up, it was over within the first 2 rounds because he had his range and Zurdo could never get to him.
That's a good point.
I will be the contrarian this time. I'll go with Beterbiev because I would say that Bivol uses his jab as like a rangefinder, and that's it. Beterbiev will use his jab to get on the inside, and it's a stiff punch, so he can also use it to hurt you. And he'll shuffle and follow it up behind his right cross. So I think he uses that jab in different ways. So I will give him a better jab because it's a little more versatile, not necessarily faster, nothing like that.
All right, so it's 1-1 right now. Official, who has the better jab?
Yeah, well, that's another parameter where they're both great at. In fact, Beterbiev's jab is underrated. He feints a lot with it. He can throw it as a hard jab to hurt you. He can fake with it. He can set up counter punches with it. So it's not the difference is not that big. The difference is in the way they use it. So it's kind of whatever you like. But I'm leaning, however, towards what Frank said, because I really like how Bivol use it as a rangefinder to control the range and switch the distance. So yeah, Bivol.
All right, so
but not by much.
We got Frank and official saying Bivol. We got Sober said Beterbiev. And I got to add my 2 cents here, obviously, that Bivol's jab is heavy. I'm talking Bivol. I'm not making a mistake here. Bivol, I've seen pretty much all his televised fights, and he's always landing that jab, consistently snapping people's heads back. And one of the great qualities he has is whenever he gets hit with something, he comes right back with something. Sometimes it's a combination. It's almost like it pisses him off that he took a clean shot. And oftentimes it will be about 2-3 jabs in a row. Whereas Beterbiev obviously not as voluminous with his output as Bivol, but nevertheless quite accurate with it as well. Heavy. Look at the Anthony Yardy fight. It was jab city, which is something that's easy to do against Yardy. Kovalev was also making him eat jabs in their fight. So maybe it wasn't that impressive, but he has an educated jab. You can't be a top amateur the way he was in the Russian system without having an educated jab. So I don't know, man. It's do I edge it to Bivol again, or do I give it to Beterbiev by virtue of the fact that it's just that much of a heavier shot? I think, you know what, I'm going to go just based on, again, on volume. The fact that Bivol throws more jabs and they're just as accurate as Bivol's. The only thing is they're not as heavy. I'm going to give it to Bivol. Let me see what people in the chat are saying, by the way. Sargent says Beterbiev was piecing Callum up with the jab. George Thompson Jr. says it's a sledgehammer too. Epaidokua says, what the fuck? Okay, I know who he's referring to. Team Batman Boxing says both have different jabs. Both are superb. Yeah, that's why it's a difficult choice. Josh says Bivol did the Devin Haney. I don't know what that means. What is he referring to? Alco says Bivol definitely has a more versatile jab. Josh says Joe Smith had Bivol on Queer Street. King KO says Beterbiev has T-Rex arms. Padokua says Bivol has a probing jab. All right, so we're going to edge it to Bivol. But again, that doesn't mean that Beterbiev's jab is something to sneeze at. No, sorry, bump. Or that it's insignificant, rather. Shout out to Mars Boxeo, by the way, for his contribution with the super chat. He says, we need Putin first row with PDD Turkey. Let's see if he reaches for his hand. Put me for Bivol, unanimous decision. Oh, yeah, by the way, that Turk is going to be there. Do you expect him to do any high strangeness in the fight? What can we expect from the Turk as he's sitting there besides the ringside, rather?
The Indian dude that he was with there last, he will be there.
The guy that he forced to hold hands with, that dude you're talking about?
Yeah, his boy toy.
His boy.
Yeah, he should have about 3 or 4 there.
I mean, oh, come on, man. Yeah, there's something wrong with the Sheik. I mean, I appreciate the fact that he's putting on these fights, but I don't know, man. Shout out to Iron Templar for his contribution. Real quick. Shout out to Iron Templar for his contribution with the super chat. He says the best American boxer, Joe Smith Jr., said that the more he pursued Bivol, the more dangerous Bivol became. Are we underestimating Bivol's power? Well, let me answer that question after whoever was going to speak goes. Who was going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably Kate Bivol's hand that he will be holding this time ringside.
Kate, what's her deal? She's involved with this now, or what?
No, but she's certainly acting like she's open to hang with anyone.
Imagine that, yeah. She found herself a sugar daddy with the Sheik. Although I don't think, based on what Sober says, I don't think the Sheik is attracted to living beings with pussies. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so what else was I going to say here? Oh, yeah, so to what Iron Templar said, Bivol can crack. Look at how he dropped Castillo. Look at how he dropped Lyndon Arthur with a good left hook to the body. Look at how he had Joe Smith pinned on the ropes. And that was more a volume thing, but it's still the prowess of his attack was such that he actually pinned Joe Smith on the ropes for a good 15 seconds, and just essentially had him helpless on the ropes. So this guy can crack, don't get me wrong. Will it be enough, however, to deter Beterbiev? Because Beterbiev just seems impervious to any type of damage. You hit him and he just puts his hands up and he barely gets moved. Now, of course, there are exceptions, such as when Callum Johnson dropped him and what was the other guy who dropped him? Pryor? Or, no, what was his name? Greg Page, I think it was. Greg Page Jr. In any event, that was more of a...
It was more of a Page, yeah. He dropped him.
All right, thank you guys. Yeah, so the page one was more off balance. The Callum Johnson one, that was a legit knockdown. But who's crazy enough to trade left hooks with a dude? You know what I mean? It's not everybody. So I don't know. You know, Jimmy once said, he said it very adroitly. He said, Bivol's so good with the 1-2, he never really learned to commit with the hook or the uppercuts. And I agree with him. I don't know if it's going to be enough to really.
That could be his downfall eventually. And maybe this is the fight that costs him for that.
But what official scorecard boxing, what he said makes sense, that volume. Like, no one's ever fired throwaway shots at Beterbiev to keep him occupied behind that shell enough to go to 12 rounds. Everyone always panics and they start loading up, and the more you load up on Beterbiev, the more he makes you miss, because he's actually got pretty good defense. And before you know it, he's back battering you on the rope. So maybe Bivol's wherewithal and patience and stamina will be enough to keep this dude off of him for all 12 rounds.
He's gonna have to, because if you really think about Beterbiev's style of attack, he kind of walks you into a trap.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
He walks you into it, and then and Bivol will give him those opportunities. He's gonna for sure give him. That's one of the big reasons why I'm picking Beterbiev to beat him. Is because of that, because of Bivol's style. Bivol darts in and out in a very linear way. You know, kind of like the old school Soviet style.
That's right.
And it's a lot of 1-2s, and like you said, he doesn't really mix it up like uppercuts and stuff like that. So I'm thinking Beterbiev's going to find that to be very predictable as the fight goes along.
By the way, you don't need to say as you said. I know what I said. All right, you don't need to remind me. It sounds condescending. But anyway, yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
Sorry about that.
Yeah. All right, now listen, we're doing the comparative analysis thing, by the way, where we're comparing, trying to pick who has the better jab, the better right hand, whatever. So far, this is what we got recognized. I'm sharing the screen here with you guys so you can see it. So far, Bivol has edged the precision category and the jab category. Would you agree with that?
Personally, me, no. But I can see where people see it that way. I think precision is Beterbiev because he does it with more power, and it's more what's the word I'm looking for? It's more precise in the sense that what he's looking to do, he's more effective in that. So precision, I'll give it to him in terms of that.
You mean he does it while throwing? Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You could go ahead.
No, my bad. I was just asking you recognize if you meant that he was precise while throwing less punches. I mean, using effectively a better percentage of punches that he's throwing.
Right. They're more exactly what you just said, official. Exactly that. Because it's more there's more damage being done, right? With little work. But you can look at it as a volume thing versus, when a guy's more precise, or let's say he's more accurate because he's throwing more volume. I can see where people would say, yeah, well, therefore his precision is a little bit better. But in terms of damage, from what I can tell, in terms of damage with fewer punches, I have to go Beterbiev.
Now,
precision.
I don't know if that's Dora in the chat, Evan. I think he's got different accounts now. He's saying, "Why are you on insane BDA?" Well, listen, this is being done by committee. It's a democratic process. Even if I disagree, but 3 people outnumber me, we gotta go with what the people say. So I just want to clarify that once again, because people seem to think that it's one person making the picks here. And by the way, just because one guy wins one category doesn't mean that the other guy has nothing on that category. It just means one guy edges it. All right, Jimmy, I can hear you now. I think what was going on, man?
Oh, nothing. Just all kinds of fucking life issues. But so I missed precision and jabbing. Those two. Well, I'd go jab. I'd go Bivol. Definitely. For sure. Precision.
Yeah,
Beterbiev doesn't throw many. Yeah, Beterbiev doesn't throw many punches, but he has a pretty high connect rate.
Right.
He's pretty precise. So there, it's you know what I mean. That could go either way. But
yeah, but that's why
I'll go with Beterbiev, and I think jabs I'll go Bivol.
Oh yeah, all day with the jab. That's his whole game is his jab.
Yeah, because one of the things we encounter often when we do this comparative analysis is it goes into a question of, okay, well, if one guy throws way more shots, let's say like Ricky Hatton, he used to throw pretty much almost everything to the body. But does that mean that he was a better body puncher than, say, a guy like Julio Chavez, who was more selective with his punch output, but his left hook, to me, was technically beyond anything Hatton. Not beyond, but it was technically superior to Hatton. So just because one guy throws more doesn't often mean that he's better. So I'm not saying that that's the case with the jab, but it's one of the issues we're going to encounter, and we're going to have to debate at some point, I suspect, with these categories. Yeah.
Excuse me, please, Mr. BDA. I know that the show must go on and there are other panelists, but I have one more thing to say about precision. The video that I will try to make on Bivol, if you rewatch the Zinad fight, his last fight, when it comes to Bivol's precision, there is a good example, the sequence where he dropped Zinad the first time. He dropped him with throwing jab, right cross, and left hook. So he caught him with the left hook, 1, 2, 3. But before that left hook, the way he threw 1, 2, he did not throw his right cross to really connect it on Zinad's shin. Instead, he missed it. He missed his face with the right cross. But instead of bringing that right cross back into his guard to protect his chin, he slapped down Zinad's right hand, his rear hand that he was protecting his face with, and that's how he kicked it down and allowed the left hook to land. So it just shows you how he throws a lot. So a lot of punches may look like throwaway punches, but he knows what he's doing. So everybody can, after the show, rewatch that sequence. That right hand, he slaps down Zinad's guard in order to follow it up with the left hook that drops it.
Yeah, that's what a good combination puncher is supposed to do. That he fires throwaway shots because at the end of the day, it's because he's anticipating where the guy's gonna end up, and then that's when he finishes with two hard shots. Shout out to I'm Your Leader, by the way, for reestablishing his membership program. Shout out to I'm Your Leader, and he says, what's he saying? Hold on a second. He says Beterbiev by KO. All right, let me write that one down. I'm Your Leader says Beterbiev KO. By the way, there's also, I think it's the best prediction so far. We're all trying to get technical with this. We're all trying to talk about the jab, blah, blah, blah. I think James Burrell is breaking it down succinctly when he says, yada, yada, yada. Beterbiev by dog. There you go. I think he got to the root of the issue with as few words as possible. Beterbiev's got that dog. But I would argue Bivol has that dog too, because like I said, whenever he gets hit, he comes right back with something. So we could be seeing the battle of the Russian dogs. Well, what's a Russian dog? What's the symbol of Russian dogs?
Well, they got them probably, I don't know, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's known as the most vicious dog breed in the world. In fact, they're not even allowed in North America, Canada, or the United States. They're over 200 pounds. They use them at Russian prisons. They're insane.
In the ghetto, the most vicious dog for us is DMX.
Oh, come on. Right, how do I kick people off the panel again? How do we do this?
Come on, man. Go on.
All right. I won't kick you off. By the way, shout out to Quacks for reestablishing his membership program as well. And he says, what's he saying? He says, Beterbiev by 11 round TKO. Oh, all right. See, that's what I like. He's giving us a round. Beterbiev, 11th round TKO. All right, I got that down. I'm going to be trying to look in the chat for as many as predictions as possible. But again, we're doing a live show here, a comparative analysis, so it's kind of hard to do that at the same time, but I'll try my best. Shout out to L'Evolution in the chat as well. Shout out to L'Evolution. Still around. Hopefully he's still up with the wrestling. Oh yeah, we talked a little bit for a couple of weeks ago. He's still up and running with the wrestling thing. So shout out to L'Evolution, who says it's the Ovcharka. That's the dog, and they're terrifying. Well, there you go. I mean, if I see it, I probably won't find it that terrifying, but that's just me. But I mean, I can understand why other people would find animals terrifying. As it goes, most animals find me terrifying.
Ovcharka means shepherd.
Ah, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I always forget. Official Scorecard Boxing it lives in France, but you're Serbian, so that means do you understand Russian or?
Not everything, but I understand some portions of Russian and many words.
There you go.
In Serbia, they speak the origin
Serbian.
language Slavic, right? Is it
Serbian. They have their own language.
Slavic
Serbian.
word in Serbia?
Sorry, can you repeat your question? Recognize?
Do Serbians in Serbia, do they have a lot of Slavic words?
Well, yeah, we are Slavic people. We are South Slavs.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I always said I like Official Scorecard Boxing, but as it pertains to Serbs, like I always say, you can't spell a Serbic without Serb in it. So I don't know. You got to watch out for the Serbs. All right. I don't like the fake laughter. Now listen, we got to keep on going
here. Someone say, "Oh, Cheka." Or Checo or whatever, yeah, that's the breed. I couldn't remember, but yeah, that guy was right. Yeah, they're over 200 pounds, man, and they're nasty.
Jeez, Luis. All right, well, that's good to know, man. These dogs. I mean, if you want a wolf killer, get yourselves out of Chanka or whatever they said. Let's go back to the comparative analysis here. We go on to the power hand, the rear hand. Both guys are orthodox, so we're talking about the right hand. What's that?
Beterbiev, I mean, it goes without saying. He's probably the hottest punch. I would probably venture to say one of the hottest punching light heavyweights in history.
Whoa.
And that's a bold statement, but I believe it because I went and I saw a thing a guy made. He put a short together. And Ring IQ actually had it on one of his videos about all these guys who spot him, and they asked like all the guys who fought him, from Joe Smith to everybody he's fought, and stories from like what Mickey Bays heard about this kid from up in like Montreal area and whatnot, and people who spar him say like most guys spar normal 3 rounds. There's guys who will only spar like half. They do a minute and a half, and somebody steps into the other minute and a half because he hits that hard, even with the big gloves on, like thunderously hard.
Yeah, what I heard was that he spars. What the story is that he spars. You know, usually you do 2 rounds with one guy, and then he jumps in, and a fresh guy comes in, and you do 2 rounds with him, and then another. Apparently, this guy with Beterbiev, he has to spar one guy every round, different guy every round, because he mangles them up so much that. And again, you know, you got to be careful with these ring stories. Or the sparring stories, rather, because, you know, a little bit of it could be to create a mythos around the fighter. But with Beterbiev, I believe it, man, because there was a guy that I knew, an amateur, who used to train at his gym. And yeah, he said pretty much the same thing. And he wasn't exactly going out there voicing it to the media or whatever. So I can believe that there's a certain portion of truth, a morsel of truth too, that this dude he reminds me of Gennady Golovkin.
In my heyday, I would have threw Beterbiev a beating.
I'd have tossed him a fucking beating.
I mean,
I'd have tossed that kid a beating.
I mean, you would have tossed what? What?
Hey,
no, I'm just saying. He would probably. I don't know. That guy would probably make you beat something else, man. That's all I'm saying, man. He's a bad dude. But I'll say this, man. Yeah, okay, so Jimmy's said rear hand. Recognize, what do you say? Who has the better right hand?
Oh, Beterbiev, man. For sure.
Who else? Who else wants to go?
Beterbiev.
Never saw it, but he's doing it so fast because he wants to get it in there. All right.
Beterbiev.
Yeah. Well, I think this one's easy, right?
Yeah, I think Beterbiev has what's called the equalizer. You know what I mean? That's what'll end the fight. Beterbiev's right hand will end the fight if it lands correctly.
Exactly, and you know what? He can throw it straight. He can throw it in the mid range. He can throw it inside. I mean, this dude. Yeah, let's not spend too much time on this. Otherwise, going to be here all night. Let's give obviously the right hand to Beterbiev. Finally, notches a win.
Yeah, Beterbiev.
Beterbiev, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, official. So you concur with that. All right, hooks now. Who has a superior hooks?
Beterbiev as well.
Now, Jimmy, you
I got Beterbiev on that one.
But hooks is like an accuracy. Hooks, as in, do they throw? Are we talking about throwing properly? I mean, what, or are we just talking about powerful hooks? It's got, you know what I mean? Like it's a.
No, that's exactly what I'm trying to think about, Jimmy. Like,
right?
When it comes to power and accuracy and all that, easily Beterbiev. He uses it more, and when Bivol uses it, he kind of just uses it to like distract you almost. It's not like it's pretty good. It's just there's no real power behind it. There's power, but it's not enough to change the fight. Beterbiev
I mean, the next two things, hooks and uppercuts, Beterbiev. I mean, that goes without even saying, without a doubt.
Yeah, you know what? People in the chat are saying, like Quags is saying, just think of it like, who would you rather be? Let's just break it down to who superior in the sense of most efficient in terms of both power, technique, frequency of the punch thrown. I would have to go, Bivol has a couple of good hooks when he goes to the body with him. He hurt Jean Pascal a couple of times with a left hook to the body, but at the end of the day, I think it pales in comparison to the effectiveness of Beterbiev's hooks and uppercuts.
No doubt.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Beterbiev again could end the night, could end the fight in any round with one of those landed hooks to the body. That's just what he has. The hook, you had like Floyd Mayweather's check hook. He had Trinidad's precise hooks. But, the hook that does the most damage is the one you don't see, when you clip somebody. They just don't see that hook coming. So Bivol could have that in his back pocket, but Beterbiev can end the fight any round with those damaging body blows, hooks.
He could have that.
Frank, you know what he does that I like really good? He does those fucking leaping hooks in exchanges while the guys, which is rare. You don't usually you see a guy do that, the leaping hook, when his target stops for a moment. No, he does it while you're punching, back with him. So you definitely don't see it coming.
You already chose hooks, but I would just say, just to again to be contrarian, I kind of like Bivol's form on his hooks more, bro. And I really,
no, you don't.
When I think about their hooks, I just noticed what always comes out to my mind is Bivol always does this 1-2, and then he does a half step back and he throws a hook, and he does that in every fight. That's his bread and butter. So I'm just always thinking about that left hook that Bivol throws. But I mean, you already chose Beterbiev because of power, right?
Well, it's not just the power; it's the accuracy too. That he throws.
Yeah, Beterbiev, y'all chose him with the hooks.
Yeah, hooks and uppercuts.
He has so much power.
And by the way,
there's more power in his hooks. There's more power in the hook. Yeah.
Well, but to me, it's not just the power; it's also the accuracy of the hooks. And like somebody else said in the chat, he's got little T-Rex arms, and that plays into Frank's point, which is the hook that you don't see coming is the one. It's like the 6-inch short shot.
It's funny you say that, right? Because I'm looking up their dimensions. Okay, so this is according, of course, to BoxRec.
Right.
According to BoxRec, Bivol is 6 feet, right? 72 inches. And he has a 72-inch reach, wingspan.
Uh-huh.
And then you go to now when you go to Beterbiev, he's listed as basically 6 feet, 5'11" and a half, 73 inches of reach.
Yeah, that's what I just noticed too. Now that you mention it, and let's put up a picture here. This is in the weigh-in for the. Hold on. This is for the weigh-in for the Gvozdyk.
Don't he give you the impression? I'm sorry. Go ahead, BJ.
This is I'm showing a picture of the weigh-in for the Gvozdyk fight, and Beterbiev. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's almost like Bam Rodriguez too. Bam Rodriguez looks like he's got little short arms, but it actually turns out when he's been measured, he has the longest arms near his divisions. So maybe it's something I don't know what. It's a mystical. It's an illusion.
I think I know what it is. It's the way he's built, right? He has a classic boxer built, but at the same time, he's like, for lack of a better term, like over exaggerated a bit,
right?
in the body, yeah. And so you can't really notice that he actually has long arms.
Maybe it's also because he's a little squared up when he fights.
It's not long. It's not long. Like the bicep and tricep area. It seems like he has longer forearms.
Right.
That's what it is. His forearms are long.
And you know what else?
His arms are short. I just think it's kind of the way he throws his punches. Like everything's kind of like a straight punch almost.
That's what I was gonna say too. It seems to me like too he's squared up, so he doesn't turn his punches. It doesn't seem like he turns his punches over as much. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we all thought that he had the shorter arms, but it turns out he's actually got a 1 inch advantage according to the statistics. So we fell into a bit of a.
Oh, I never thought that. So.
No, yeah, you did. Come on, stop it. In fact, I remember you distinctly. I remember Sobers distinctly saying, "Hey, man, I know for a fact Beterbiev's got longer arms." I said, "All right." I mean, shorter arms. Excuse me.
It's how you measure it, man. Base to tip.
Right, BDA. I heard him say that.
Wait, Frank. What'd you say? What base to tip is?
It's all about how you measure it. And the base, the tip.
That's what I always tell people about something else. That's what I always tell people.
I don't like where this conversation is going.
Well,
keep it boxing.
We're there, man. All right, let's get out of this conversation then, and let's go to uppercuts. So, okay, we all said uppercuts, Beterbiev as well, right?
I think so.
Beterbiev.
Yeah. Body work.
Yeah, I'll give that a brief.
Body work, Beterbiev as well.
Beterbiev. He when he gets in there, he gets in there.
Frank, what's the matter with you today, man? Hip to base. When he gets in there, he gets in there.
Violence, I'm talking about violence.
He gets in there and explodes. I mean, come on, man. What are you doing?
He gets in there and puts his man down.
Like Turkey Al-Sheikh. He does all of those things simultaneously.
He likes to order him up, I think. I think he likes to do what's the guy that puts the grease on the guys?
The Joker too? You're talking about?
Leonard Ellerby?
Jeez.
Yeah. So they look all shiny coming out, for the fight.
Allegedly. We should say allegedly. All right, so I think we all agree with body work. Yeah, I mean, you know what thing, real quick, Beterbiev, there was a point in his career when I was actually disappointed because I'm talking 2016, 2017. This was when Golovkin was fighting. And I always wanted to see Golovkin go more to the body. And then I would watch Beterbiev and it was the same thing. I was like, why doesn't this guy load up more? That's one of the things that I've always found interesting about Beterbiev. And then little by little, I started understanding that just like a guy like Kovalev, Beterbiev doesn't need to load up. I mean, what he does works very well when it comes to punching power. And sometimes you didn't really see him go to the body that much. But then came the Anthony Yarde fight, the Marcus Brown fight, and yeah, when he goes to the body, like Frank said, it gets nasty. Bivol can go to the body too when he wants to with the left hooks. Like I said, he hurt Jean Pascal and Lyndon Arthur to the body, but he just sometimes he's content with just flurrying upstairs. But at the end of the day, Beterbiev, yeah, absolutely, body work goes to him. Now, who has the superior corner? For those of you that are unaware, Beterbiev is with the Canadian Mark Ramsey. He pretty much trains all the top Canadian talent out here. And then you got Bivol, who I believe has one Russian guy who's always wearing a beret. And he's also trained by Diaz, right? One of the Diaz brothers.
Which Diaz brothers?
The one with the eye, with the bum eye.
Oh, Joel Diaz, the crazy. Yeah.
So who has the better corner, guys?
I'll go with the Cyclops.
Oh, come on, man! What the? So you guys?
Yeah,
what was this? I got a good mind to. I got a good mind to end this show right now, man. But I'm not gonna.
Honestly, I cannot decide. I cannot decide on this one. Although I respect Ramsey a lot in Beterbiev's corner. He's hell of a trainer. Maybe I'll edge it to him, but it would be only because I'm not very well aware of Bivol's corner.
Well, it's almost history. Like I remember when we were doing the Crawford Spence one. I forget who we chose, but I remember that it was a bit of a conundrum too because we were saying, okay, Derek James, who trains Spence, has trained bigger names or more names than Bomac, who really trains Crawford. But then we said, I think one of the arguments was, well, yeah, but he gels very well with Crawford. So in that sense, does he have the better trainer? Overall, I think it comes down to experience. And Diaz and that other Russian dude seem to have a very good rapport with Bivol. I'm gonna edge it to Bivol. Would you guys? So everybody agrees, or?
Well, I'm gonna go Beterbiev, and this is why: that if when I watch fights, sometimes fighters don't listen to their corner. It looks like they goes in one at the out the other. You know, like Tank Davis, he's looking in the stands, he's talking to Floyd.
Right.
Beterbiev seems to just be focused. You know, I could see Bivol, his trainer, telling him something, but he thinks he knows better. That's just my assessment. You know, sometimes fighters, they just think they know more, right? They're in the ring and they don't listen to their corners. But I think Beterbiev,
you think some of that has to do with just Bivol's character? He's a little bit more arrogant, you think?
That's an excellent point.
Well, no, this is what it is, bro. Bivol doesn't want to be rude, so he's not trying to stare at the dude's eye. So he's just trying to look somewhere else. He's
Come on. Nah, you know what? Nah, you know, hey, recognize. Recognize. How do I kick? How do I kick people off again? Recognize. I think you know more about this.
Get Sobers out of here. Sobers, you out.
You're right. All right, so we're gonna still. I think most people. Official, what did you say? I forget.
Tough. I don't know. It's even.
Jimmy, you want to weigh in on this one?
Official, he keeps going middle of the road, man. Come on.
Yeah, official scorecard's kind of disappointing me a little bit. He's playing it. He's being Switzerland right now when he should be Serbian.
I'm gun shy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go fucking Bivol.
All right, there you go.
How's
all
that?
Right. I understand. I got you, man. All right, so we're gonna go with.
Got no problem with that.
No, Jesus, Jimmy's going back to. Jimmy's going into Lowell mode.
Don't get Jimmy mad right now. You better calm down, BDA.
He's going into Lowell mode, Lowell, Massachusetts mode on us. We can't stop him when he gets in that mode. All right, so yeah, I agree, man. I'm gonna edge it. We're gonna edge it to Bivol, but I mean, hey, Mark Ramsey, he's. As far as Canada goes, he's you know, if you get a good Canadian prospect, you send it over his way. So
and hasn't he been with him for years too? I believe since he's turned pro, right? He stayed with the same corner, right?
Yeah.
Bivol. I think he's had. The
oh
same
well,
guy
no, Bivol, not Bivol though. Not. I think he was with someone else initially. I think. You know what?
Really?
Now that you say that, now I'm questioning it. But let's go with Bivol for the meantime. Now, Cuts. Cuts. Who is the superior? Who has a superior skin?
Well, the better skin.
Yeah.
Beterbiev is known to cut.
Mm-hmm.
He's been cut in many a fights.
But Beterbiev cuts way more, man. Oh, it seems that way. I'm trying to think. I've seen Bivol early in his career where I was like, "What the fuck happened to you?" You know, but he was getting touched up. Sullivan Barrera is the one that comes to mind. I'm like, dude, Sullivan Barrera is touching you, really. How are you fucking bruised up like that? You're beating the dog shit out of him, and but when you look at that fight closely, you saw that he was getting caught with some shots in between his, you know, basically wonderful display of offense in that fight. But he doesn't cut, like, you know, bleed out. Beterbiev does. Whether he calls it, whether it's his own style, but it seems like his skin in the face, there's a lot of wear and tear, right? Maybe because he's just built that way. One of those guys that, you know, you can punch me in my face. I don't. That's a terrible accent, but you get what I'm saying.
Come on, headbutt me.
Hit with me, you asshole. Come on, let's do it.
That sounds like what Bivol's wife was telling him, like egging him on to hit her so that she could finally.
Come on, pussy. Go to a pussy.
He had that. Remember against Marcus Brown, he had that horrendous cut in his forehead.
Right. Wasn't that
I would say.
Wasn't that a haircut?
That was a headbutt. That's why I was like, come on, headbutt me.
Headbutt. Opened him up too, but I've seen him opened up around his eye before too. He was opened up, so I think he's got thinner skin.
Well, the Yardy fight, he was cutting the Yardy fight. Was that because of a headbutt too, or I forget?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Asians tend to have thicker skin. They don't cut as easy for some reason. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Bivol.
I'm going with the Mongolian warrior on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that fucking. I'm going.
You know what, man?
Mongolian.
The Asians don't cut easily. They don't cut prices easily either. Like, you go there 5 years to the same business, they never give you a discount, man. Slash the price a little bit. Come on, man. I've been coming here for 5 years. You can't.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm just saying. I gotta be. I'm gonna be Terrence Crawford here. I'm like Terrence Crawford. I can make fun of stereotypes and I don't get any slack for it. Like when he told Benavides Jr., you know, I'm gonna beat the burritos out of you. That's what I am. I got immunity, diplomatic immunity. All right, so we're gonna go with. I agree with everything you guys said, by the way. Cuts goes to Bivol. He's just impervious. And you know what? I'd rather be puffy, my face a little puffy than cut.
Puffy. You rather be puffy?
No. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh, did he?
No, wait a minute. Oh man, what is this show turning into, man? I got a good mind to end it right now, man. All right, so
Now
we're
it
gonna
devolves into some fucking sexual
think about it too,
bullshit.
BDA. Think about it too, BDA. Beevil's already. He looks like he's already squinting all the time, anyways.
Oh, come on! Now. See,
there's no disadvantage.
What are we doing here, fellas? Come on.
If you look at it, Bivol has he has flatter cheekbones. Beterbiev has a higher cheekbone. He also has ridges on his forehead. Probably tends to make him cut more too. But either way, I've seen him gashed open. I haven't seen Bivol gashed open. So for that reason, I'm going with Bivol on the cuts.
All right. So here's what we're going to do.
Come see me.
Jeez,
oh shit! God damn, Jimmy's just like he's gonna stay the fuck out of the way.
I'm just being a douche.
Continue that. I like.
Here's what we're gonna do. Best defense in boxing, right? Like that's what they always say. So, but some guys they like to mix it up. Some guys are bleeders, and then that's probably Beterbiev. He doesn't mind. It's not a fight unless he's bleeding. That's what wakes him up.
There you go, man. I agree with that, and I agree, man. Bivol's got the edge here. Now, listen, everybody, calm down. I'm gonna contact the authorities. We're gonna figure things out, and then we're gonna keep on going with the second part of the comparative analysis. Before that, however, don't forget to hit the like if you're enjoying the show. Subscribe if you've yet to do so. And I want to give a shout out to Aaron Templar for his contribution. Again, shout out to Aaron Templar who says, remember those Hulk dogs from the 2003 Hulk movie? That's what Bivol and Beterbiev are. Terrence Crawford is a Pooh Chess Chihuahua on steroids. Oh, and by the way, yeah, I had forgotten that 2003 Hulk movie, the one with Eric Bana, which was directed by the what was that, the name of that movie from 2000? That Crouching Tiger. Yeah, I forget the guy's name, the Chinese guy's name. All of a sudden,
did you just say Crouching Tiger?
Crouching Tiger.
Crouching Fat.
Well, that's the actor. That's the actor. I was talking about the director. But yeah, I forgot about that movie. It's a lost Marvel superhero cape shit movie. I forgot about that. Shout out to Aaron. And by the way, yeah, Terrence Crawford. I mean, he's acting. Him and Teofimo Lopez are embarrassing themselves on Twitter, especially when we got a fantastic fight like the one we have between Beterbiev and Bivol this Saturday, and these guys are like teenagers going back and forth. Absolutely disgusting. Or like Joe would say, what an absolute embarrassment. Exactly. I concur.
It's like really we're gonna start going down like they're both being, I don't know, is it carte blanche, like openly racist now? Like, is that what we're gonna turn into now? In boxing, like people just going to start getting racist.
Well, that's what we've been doing for fights. That's what we've been doing for the past 7 years. So why not?
Yeah, but you know what?
I like it.
Well, Jimmy, the more you tell somebody they can't do something, the more they want to do it.
I mean, that's with little kids, man. But these guys, that's what I'm saying. These guys are acting like little kids. All right, let's go on over to part 2 of this analysis. Now we get down to the nitty gritty here a little bit. Speed.
Uh-oh.
I think this one's a little easier. Who is the faster guy?
Bivol.
There you go.
Yeah, I say overall Bivol. It seems that way. With
Bivola, the Mongol.
I just want.
Yeah, he's got quicker hands.
I just want to remind people then that based on the first page, so now we got Bivol being the faster guy, and according to you guys, I disagreed, but whatever, the more accurate guy as well. So just take that into consideration.
Yeah, overall consensus is that, because I don't agree with that either in terms of accuracy.
But, there you go. Yeah, but still, I mean, it's close.
You think Beterbiev is the more accurate of the two punches?
Again, I don't know if it's an illusion.
He's more effective. I think he's more effective.
I don't know if it's an illusion, like you guys were saying, that it's because Bivol throws more and therefore it looks like because the argument I made for both sides was, yeah, Bivol throws more, so somebody could say, oh, there you go, so he needs to throw more to be accurate, therefore he's not accurate. But I contend that, like official scorecard said, and I think Frank Bay also said the same thing, like he's actually setting up shots with combinations, which is what you're supposed to do. A good professional throws a 5-punch combo because he knows that by the last 2 punches, he anticipates where the other guy's going to be. But anyway, listen, the point is, we're going back to the first page here. Let's stick to this one. Speed, yeah, obviously, Bivol.
Yeah, Bivol definitely. In fact, I think Beterbiev has actually kind of slow hands. If I would say what's one of his negatives, his hand speed. But that tends to come with big muscle pound guys like that.
Big muscle pounding is what Jimmy just said. But yeah, I mean, it's true. It's the big muscle pounding. It's true. It's that takes.
Muscle pound. I had Sal's pizza in my mouth.
I mean, I'm just
Walking
saying.
son of a bitch.
I mean, I'm just saying. It sounded like something else. What did you say you're eating?
Hello, Jimmy. Hello,
What
Jimmy.
BDA is a punching bag today.
Wait, Jimmy. What did you say you're eating today?
I said I had some Sal's pizza in my mouth.
Look at that. I'm now you're giving me the hankering for a little pizza myself. I'm trying to. I've been
Good
watching
stuff.
what I eat.
Nice thin guinea pizza.
Do you eat it like John Travolta, where you have two slices folded together and you're just munching on that like in Saturday Night Fever? Or?
No, I just fold one piece, and then I let all the fucking juice puddle up and soak into the crust.
Now I want some pizza. Fuck, man. All right, anyway.
You know what,
let's-
BDA? You know what, BDA? You need to toughen up, bro. You're easily influenced. You're easily influenced.
No.
Just when you're not talking, pause your shit, dial up a fucking pie, have it delivered.
No. I'm saving it for a special occasion. That's what I do. But what was I gonna say about this? Okay, so speed. Fuck. Somebody was gonna say something about the speed. I don't know. Recognize something about toughening up.
Well, okay. Hold
on.
Toughen up! Toughen up! This isn't fucking ballet!
Yeah, you're right. I need to toughen up. Recognize. You're right.
Yeah, you need to toughen up, VDA. Seriously.
Yeah,
Anyway.
let Joe coach you. Joe can toughen you up, coach you.
Hey, speaking of Joe, show up at the VC, man. Right? Show up
Joe
at the
should
VC.
Joe should be a drill sergeant.
I like to have Joe in my corner. He'd fire me up. That motherfucker gets me fired up during calls.
I said I want to hear him order a cheeseburger. I'd like to hear Joe order a cheeseburger or a pizza.
I wanna hear Joe when they get the order wrong. When he asks for onions,
when they get the order wrong, you fucking assholes!
If I wanted half a fucking pickle on my sandwich, I would tell you to give me a fucking pickle.
All right. Listen, let's get serious.
I hope your mother dies of cancer.
Jeez, Louise. Listen.
Savage is a disgrace.
Listen, let's get serious for a moment here. We still got a long way to go. Let's go to power now. I think it's an evident one. Power.
Yeah, we can skip right over that. I mean, that's an automatic.
I mean, come on. Who wants to be a
Goes without
contrarian?
saying.
Who wants to be a contrarian?
Not me.
There you go. Now, as it pertains to intelligence, ring IQ, who has the superior brain? Now, this one's difficult.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one, man.
I go Bivol. And I think he earned that during the Canelo fight. He showed me a lot. Most people, when he was trying to be edged into going to the corner, Canelo's calling him in, and he was just smart enough to stay out. And the way he fought that fight, he did everything right in that fight to win.
When you look at Beterbiev attacking, right, you'll see him pause, right? Like he'll get off, let's say, a couple of shots, pause. He's looking for another opportunity on you to hit you with another big shot or combinations. I think that's excellent ring IQ, personally, right? So
yeah, I agree.
Wouldn't that be power of attack?
This is very 50-50, but I'm going to give the slight edge to Beterbiev because I do think Bivol kind of just on instinct, he wings a lot of punches. You know what I'm saying? There's sometimes this lack of discipline there. And let's be honest, like what he's doing is he's scoring a lot of points, but there's some opportunity to get hit with shots, and maybe he just hasn't fought the right guy to make him pay for that. I think he has paid for that a couple of times, but not to the point where it cost him the fight, obviously. I don't know.
Well,
This is
I
a
think
tough one for me, but I think I'm gonna go Beterbiev in terms of ring IQ.
See, my thing is this with Beterbiev, he's got so much power. He doesn't bother trying to set traps. He's not trying to do anything. It's just, I'm going to hit you, and when I hit you, you're going to go out. You know what I mean? If I catch you, you're going to get dizzy, and then I'm going to just beat you up. So his thing is just his power, and he stays patient. And sometimes, unless that time you get cut, then he had to really turn it on. But Bivol, because of he's actually smaller side of light heavyweight, he has to use ring IQ a lot of fight in times to win. Because most times he's the smaller guy in there, so he uses his distance, right? And he uses he picks on people's what people don't do good, he really attacks. So just ring IQ, I definitely, for me personally, I'd give that to Bivol. But
all right, that's
because Beterbiev again is just all about power, man. He just gets you, man, and it's on. His attack is better. Yeah, like I agree with Recognize when he goes on the attack, it's ferocious. He just, I mean, look at what he did to Joe Smith. He just fucking mauled him and beat him like he owed him money. But when it comes to overall 1 to 12 rounds, in the beginning, open bell with a game plan. This is what you got to do. Don't try to break it to the point where sometimes you put the crowd to sleep. Yeah, that's ring IQ.
You know what? Real quick, Jim Lampley said something interesting when they were asking him on the 3 knockdown rule a while back about who would win between Crawford and Mayweather. Steve Kim and Mario Lopez were picking Crawford. Lampley was adamant about Mayweather, and he said something interesting. He said, "Never underestimate a guy who doesn't care about boring people to death." And I said, you know what? You just reminded me of that, Jimmy. Like Bivol is similar. Not that he'll run and clinch and shake his ass like Mayweather did, especially in the more boring parts of his career, but that he doesn't need to push the pace if he doesn't want to, or if he doesn't need to, rather. And he's content with that. And it's hurt him financially, but at the same time, it's in terms of just boxing wise, it served him very well to stay undefeated. That's a good way of putting it, man.
Yeah, I think Bivol on surface value, but just something, and this might also converge with mental strength, but in terms of ring IQ, I think, it has to do with being tested. Like if you're down on the scorecards, you've been knocked down, can you come back to win? I think Beterbiev has showed a lot of ring IQ and being hurt, cuts, and he finds a way to win. And Bivol, if he gets hurt, if he gets stunned, can he find a second gear, a third gear?
I wouldn't that fall into mental strength?
That's what I said. But ring IQ is also being down on the cards.
That's that dog meter you're talking about, Frank.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's also, if you're losing, can you find a way to win? Can you have a plan A, plan B?
Isn't that intestinal fortitude? Again, maybe I'm misunderstanding how we're interpreting ring IQ. Because ring IQ is someone who knows how to hold the center of the ring, set traps.
Yeah, for lack of a better term, let's
keep yourself steady.
When you say having a game plan from round 1 through 12, I think you have to take that into consideration. I think what I'm taking, and maybe Frank is taking on a different side, like I'm taking how I do believe he sets up traps, and in the middle of his trap that he sets you up for, he stops in the middle of after throwing a combination and sees what you're doing and then goes at you again. And to me, I kind of value that a little bit more. But you make an excellent point in terms of from the name of the game is that you have to have a game plan for as long as you're in the fight. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that Beterbiev doesn't. So I can understand that point of view where Bivol, it seems like he's taking less damage in more rounds combined versus Beterbiev. So therefore, I can see what somebody would say, yeah, in terms of ring IQ, that's probably a little bit better.
Yeah, ring IQ is also another word that we can use for another term rather for ring generalship. Like who knows how to get their guy? Like if Bivol wants to pressure a guy, he knows how to do it and get a guy in a corner like he did with Lyndon Arthur. If he wants to just play keep away, he knows how to do it like what he did with Joe Smith Jr. If he gets hit, he knows how to come back. Like he starts seeing the openings as the fight goes along. And I would say the same thing about Beterbiev, because Beterbiev, I have to slightly disagree with you there, Jimmy, about it's mostly just power. There's a lot of ring IQ when it comes to Beterbiev. I mean, this dude, one of the things that makes him very dangerous is that, and I don't know if we're going to cover this. Hold on, let me just check. Do we cover stamina on this one?
Well,
Yeah,
I think Beterbiev is excellent in picking out your defensive lapses.
But let me
He'll
just say
notice when
this.
you're keeping your hand low. He'll
Well, let me
take
say this.
advantage of that.
Let me say this because let me just say this because I wasn't
Yes.
finished, please. When Beterbiev, what he does is he'll circle around the ring every once in a while. He's not always pressuring like a Golovkin. Golovkin, most of the time, he was backing his opponents up until he finally got him out there. Beterbiev, he'll pressure guys, he'll explode with shots, and then all of a sudden, the next round, he'll just dance around the ring for like a minute and a half and just pick guys apart, coming in, bam, bam, just a little short right hand here, a little jab there, and then he'll turn it up again. And that's what he does round after round. He lets you off easy. He recoups his energy, but what I'm saying is when he boxes, and if anyone who wants to check out some of the more intricacies of his game, go check out Official Scorecard's video that we just posted today over at BDA Clips. He gives you an insight about the footwork, how he's able to position himself away and into his opponent's zone. So I don't know who to pick in this one, man. I'm gonna have to rely on you guys to see what's up.
And he was excellent about not smothering himself too. That I put that in ring IQ. He doesn't smother his own work, which a lot of people do who have power.
Right.
He doesn't get over. He doesn't get like a lot of guys get. Oh, I got him hurt. Let me just jump on him, and they get all frantic. Like you said, he'll spin. He'll spin right out of something. He'll like, you know what I mean. So he does have, he's a high IQ fighter. Don't get me wrong. I just think because of lack of power and being a smaller guy and being able to survive in there, he's done it. Bivol staying undefeated with mostly ring IQ. It's his intelligence.
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand what you're saying.
Well, for me, I would lean with Jimmy on this one because I just generally think that guys that without knockout punchers, I just think they just think a little bit less in the ring than they like a boxer with someone who moves around a lot because he just got to think, I'm gonna touch you, I'm gonna get what I want eventually.
It sounds like an ugly stereotype.
A lot of punchers think so.
It sounds like an ugly stereotype.
And what Jimmy was saying.
It sounds like an ugly stereotype there, Never Sobers. I don't know. You sounded like Teofimo Lopez and Crawford right now with the stereotype.
I'm just gonna be the contrarian on this one, and I'm gonna go with Beterbiev because I've seen him find ways to win. Bivol's biggest victories, he coasted. And that's great, but I haven't seen him really in an adverse position where he had to really think outside the box and be tested, and his ring IQ put to the max. So I'm just going to be the contrarian on this one.
All right, so now let's go in order here then, because I'm getting confused now. Because I'm getting confused. So Frank, you're saying Beterbiev, right? Jimmy, you're saying Bivol.
Yes.
Bivol, yeah.
Never Sobers, you said Bivol because of stereotypes. Yeah, Bivol. So we got 2 versus 1 right now. Recognize. What did you say?
I got Beterbiev.
Okay, so now it's 2-2. Official scorecard. Who do you have with the better IQ?
Yeah. So I would. Ultimately agree with Jimmy. I'm picking Bivol for having a better ring IQ, yet I have to respectfully disagree with him because Bivol, like I told you, BDA, sorry, not Bivol, but Beterbiev, he's so fucking subtle that watching it in real speed, you cannot even pick up on the subtleties that he's doing. You have to really slow it down to figure out that he's throwing ton of feints, things, really subtle things, even some traps that I showed in the video. He's lowering his guard to make you throw your right hand so he can counter it. But those are just some examples. But yeah, I'm picking Bivol. Not by much because Bivol's ring IQ is Beterbiev's ring IQ is top notch as well.
I like how Official Scorecard Boxing just subtly insulted all of us when he goes like, you really have to slow down the film to see the subtleties of what Beterbiev is doing. Like, he doesn't have to, but all of us do because we're retards. Hey, shout out to you, Official. Really nice way of saying it.
But it's really the truth because me, myself, I haven't figured it out until the moment I slowed it down to dissect it.
And you're right. Beterbiev, I like that he does. Will lower his hand to get you to throw that, to open your guard up. Mm-hmm. He does do that.
Okay, but wait, so Official, but
we're talking about elite fighters. They're both elite. You know what I mean? This is just being nitty picky. But again, that's what you got to do when you do these lists.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, it's no slight to whoever doesn't get picked. I mean, it's just, somebody's going to edge it eventually at this level. So, but official, but you said, so okay, but you said Bivol then, initially then.
Yep.
Yeah. I was BDA. Basically, I was just back foot bitching because I said Beterbiev's ring IQ is a hell of a high too, but ultimately I'm picking Bivol.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna get in the middle of this because right now it's what is it? It's 3-2 in favor of Bivol. So yeah. So I'm gonna edge it. Let's give it to what the fuck? Let's give it to Bivol then. And that's all she wrote on that. By the way,
I don't like your commitment, DDA. I don't like that commitment, but I will accept it.
All right. I'm glad you accept that, man. I want to give a shout out to Chris K. Shout out to Chris K for his contribution with the super chat. He says, I don't know why that's all fucked up, but he says, Beterbiev has underrated lateral movement, hump around to find openings, cuts off opponents, can turn off the ropes. Bivol, what's with the spelling? Bivol, very good, but needs range. That's a good way of putting it, now that you mention it. And yeah, that's one of the things that I admire about Beterbiev is he's not just a pressure fighter.
Range in boxing.
He's not just a pressure fighter. He can actually, when he's on the ropes, watch that in the Yardy fight, he actually turned him around a bunch of times when he was on the corner, and he turned the Yardy and put him in the corner. And I'm like, God damn, this guy can do it all. Let's not forget that Beterbiev was a star amateur in the Russian amateur system. It wasn't Kovalev. Kovalev was actually unknown, really. He was like third rate over there in the amateurs, whereas this dude was the star jewel of Russian amateur boxing. And you know what? If you watch that Usyk fight from the 2012 Olympics, yeah, you can make the argument that Beterbiev won that fight. And he could have very easily...
You know what I found interesting about their whole meetup, Usyk and Beterbiev, was that was considered an upset when Usyk beat him.
Wow.
Yeah, that was considered an upset.
Yeah, Beterbiev was the Russian star. I mean, Kovalev, they knew he was a drunk even back then.
Well, no, I'm talking about when Usyk fought.
Yeah, when Usyk beat Beterbiev, yeah, that was the definite upset. Beterbiev was picked to win the whole thing that year because he won the Worlds, I believe. Usually the guy who wins the Worlds will win the gold.
Well, I'm trying to say, yeah. So when Usyk won, that was considered an upset over Beterbiev.
Yes, it was. Beterbiev was picked. He was picked to win the whole shebang in that Olympics. It was definitely an upset.
Now I gotta get your guys' opinion on this. Shout out to Warp Speed. He says, "I got the guy with the scary sparring stories over the guy who got stopped by a 17-year-old Benavides in sparring." Now, is that a fair assessment of what's going? What do you guys think about that one?
Well, sparring stories are like fucking the girlfriend up in Canada. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I got a girl. She's a model. She lives up in Canada though. You know what I mean? It's like. I take them with a grain of salt unless it's the person. So remember, sparring is meant to. All right, for instance, was it the Mexican guy who's now cruiserweight? What's his name? The fucking
Zurdo Ramirez.
Zurdo Ramirez, even by Bivol's own admission, absolutely worked him in sparring, right? And then they fight, and it was a fucking one-sided boxing lesson. So sparring, you know what I mean? Sparring, so it depends on who was at the end of the day. Did he already spar 3 guys before that? Did he already train all day? Was he burnt out? Like there's a lot of things that go into it. If they both went in there fresh, and better be. But at the same token, right now, and I'll put my fucking money on this, and I know my Australian friend will love hearing this. But either way, no matter who wins Saturday night, fucking David Benavidez wants nothing to do with either one of them. Because I think him and I said it best. Fucking Bivol will box his face off, and Beterbiev will punch it off.
Oh, wait a minute! I don't like this. I don't like this new trend.
It is what it is.
I don't like this trend of not giving Benavidez any type of shot to win this fight. I don't like it. All right, listen. We gotta continue.
I'll give him a shot. I'll give him a shot in his ass.
Jeez Louise. All right, listen, we gotta keep on going with the list here. So now we get down to experience, and I'm talking about diversity of fighters, longevity, how many fights. We're talking professional ranks here. Let's not go back to the amateurs.
Yeah, if you count images, Beterbiev. Beterbiev.
I just said no amateurs.
Official scorecard is like the ultimate of saying people's names right. I got to give it up to him. Like he if you want to know how to say a fighter's name right, where's the official scorecard to say it?
So fellas, like experience. Who we got with experience then?
Beterbiev with the 3 belts, but one thing though is Bivol. They talk about the bright lights. Bivol does have the biggest fight. I mean, I know you guys are gonna say, well, it's a smaller Canelo, but that's the
Still
biggest stake in boxing.
Yeah, so I'm kind of leaning towards that. I think Bivol now Beterbiev might have the overall experience, but in terms of the bright lights, the pros, because he fought in the big stage like a Canelo and was able to win, because there's politics behind when you fight a guy who's very popular and you're fighting him in his continent, right? And for him to still win that fight, I think I'm gonna go with Frank's. I think that's where Frank was going. I lean a little bit towards Bivol on that one.
I think.
For me, my bad.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so I think these guys just about the same experience in the ring, right? So in the ring, they're not gonna see nothing new. That's why you gotta bring out outside factors, like Recognize was saying, who's been under bright lights. I think the fight with Canelo and Gilberto Ramirez, those are bigger, brighter lights and under which than Beterbiev has been. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Andy's fought in Riyadh already. So he fought Zanib in Riyadh, so he's also been there already. So, and he's been through the baby mama drama. You know what I mean? He's going through 12 rounds with his baby mama in court. Yeah. So he has a more life experience with that. So I'm gonna leave with the Mongolian once again.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, that's an excellent point by Sobers. The baby mama drama that does something to you.
Yeah, that's the Oh man, okay. So who else was gonna say? Yeah, hold on, Jimmy. I don't think you've gone yet.
If we were talking about images and all of it, I would have to say because he fought at a higher level at images, so he saw a lot of different things. But as a pro, it's one of those things like 50-50, really. Yes, Bivol has had the bigger under the lights fight. You know what I mean? To what those guys are saying, I agree with what they said with Canelo. That you know what I mean. But if we're going to count images, experience, I don't know. I'd have to give it to Beterbiev. But either way, I'm going to agree. I can go with either one. I'm right down the middle, man. With that one, experience is almost like, they're both right there. Although Beterbiev has 3 of the belts, right? And Bivol only has 1. So
I mean, official. What do you say?
In terms of experience, who I'm giving the edge to?
Yes,
that's it.
Yeah.
Definitely Beterbiev. In both, it's not like I followed closely Bivol's amateur career, but we know that at amateur he was high level, Beterbiev, and also at pros as well, in my opinion.
All right, it's fair enough. I will say you guys made a great point about Bivol. You guys made the point of Bivol having that big box office fight against Canelo. I mean, that's under the bright lights, in front of a hostile crowd, bunch of Canelo fans. Bivol probably took his wife to the event, and meanwhile the wife is flirting with Canelo, giving him the googly eyes, trying to get Bivol jealous. I mean, it's a big thing, man. And he still came out on top. Meanwhile, Beterbiev, however, and Bivol has fought a bevy of styles. I mean, he's fought Joe Smith, who's a puncher. He's fought guys who try to do the Philly shell like Chilemba and Jean Pascal, who's also quick-fisted, by the way, Jean Pascal. He's fought tall guys like Craig Richards and Castillo and Salamov or whatever his name was, the slug. So he's fought a whole bunch. And then on top of that, Canelo, who is a bit, like Bivol, strong guy, comes forward. Meanwhile, Beterbiev has fought also styles as well. He fought Joe Smith. He fought in a hostile territory against Anthony Yardy in England. Gvozdyk, who most closely resembles Bivol, and he outboxed him and beat him down. I don't know, man. I'm gonna give the edge to Bivol just simply because of that Canelo fight. However, Double L in the chat makes a good point. He says you got to take amateur into account because Bivol has that amateur style down to a T. Meanwhile, Beterbiev has beaten a lot of those type of dudes in the amateurs. So he's probably not going to be seeing anything new other than the fact that it's going to be for 12 rounds. And I guess the guy who's, incredibly quick in Bivol. So, all right. So just remind me, Frank, you said Beterbiev, right?
I'm going to go with Bivol.
Oh, Bivol. Okay.
I was just making a comparison that Beterbiev does have the 3 belts, but Bivol has that experience under the bright lights, and he's been more active. I mean, strictly boxing too. This guy, how many fights has Beterbiev had in the last year?
Oh yeah, it's only once a year, Beterbiev. You're right. Yeah. Okay, so you said Bivol. So you said Bivol. Jimmy, you said Bivol too, I think.
Yes.
Well, I said if counting images, the whole shebang and different styles and all that other stuff. Again, you tell, like every time I hear somebody pick somebody, I go with that. It's like, yeah, because he's fought and he's been much more active as a pro. I mean, how much younger is he than Beterbiev for Beterbiev? He's younger by like what?
5 years.
6 years.
4 or 5 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
6 years.
Oh, no. He's like 33, 34, isn't he? He might be
6 years. I'm saying 6
years.
6 years. Okay. All right. So 6 years, and he has more fights because he's been much more active, and that's because Beterbiev has been injured a lot. There was times I think he fought only once in 2 years, a couple of times because of injuries.
Yeah, I don't think
so
he
as
fought
pro
at all.
experience. I don't know. You know what I mean? I guess put me in as a 50-50. You can take my fucking vote and put it in as a tiebreaker if you want.
All right. But Sobers, you said Beterbiev, right? I think.
No, I said Bivol.
I'm getting them all wrong, man. What the fuck? All right, so we got.
He went 12 rounds. He went 12 rounds in the court at Karina.
Oh, that's right. That's what you said. Yeah, I remember now. Okay, so we got Frank and Sober saying Bivol. Jimmy's staying neutral for the moment. Recognize, what did you say?
Yeah, I'm slight edge Bivol.
Slight edge Bivol.
Yeah, slight edge.
Official?
Beterbiev.
All right,
Beterbiev.
all right, so it's got to be Bivol then. That's the majority of people said. All right, so
Yeah.
we'll give it to Bivol. But again, it's just a slight. We could be wrong, but it's a slight one. It's a difficult one. Foot movement. Now, okay, people are going to say, well, what do you mean by foot movement? We're talking placement of shots, almost like a mix of ring generalship, knowing when to have your feet in which position, if you're backing up, or if you're trying to press your opponent, how to get out of a corner, how to get off the ropes, how to circle, not just backing up in a straight line. And of course, speed as well. Let's invoke the speed factor as well. So, who has a superior foot movement?
In my opinion, I would put the footwork. I would put that in Bivol the way I put the power in Beterbiev. Footwork to Bivol is like power to Beterbiev. I think he's got some of the best feet in boxing. Always keeps the same distance in his feet. He fights like a fencer. His feet. He wins his fight with his feet.
That's a good point. That's a good way of saying it. You're right. Frank? Okay, Frank, go ahead.
I think Bivol slightly, mainly because he has faster feet. I think faster feet in boxing could be very important. I mean, it's not going to guarantee you a victory, but if everything is all equal and you got a guy with faster feet, I like that guy to win that fight in that exchange.
You know what? Somebody once told me to.
Say again?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
How do I kick people off the?
No, wait a minute.
Anyway, no, but I would slightly favor Bivol. I think they both flawed when it comes to footwork. They got good footwork, both of them. There's some flaws in their game. I'm not going to get into it because I want other people to give their opinion real quick. But because it seems to me, it's perceived that I perceive that Bivol's faster feet wise, and I always go with that.
All right, we've got a bunch of Bivols right now.
For this one, I would go with Bivol, yeah, just because, like everyone's saying, he has faster feet. So that's the advantage right there.
Who else hasn't gone? I think it's
Bivol, he's a ballerina in there. I've seen him train a lot, and he's always on his toes. He bounces around, and he's probably the better dancer. You watch some of these guys dance; they're excellent dancers. Like Loma, I think, was a ballerina, like literally.
Nah, he wasn't a ballerina. Stop saying ballerina. They're not ballerinas.
I thought the Klitschko's were too.
I think you're making things up. Next thing you know, he's gonna be saying, he was doing gay porn. Next thing you know, he's gonna
they were. I think the Klitschko's were at the Diddy parties. I think.
Come on! Wait a minute.
Yeah, I kind of like the way Frank says ballerina.
Yeah, exactly, man. What's going on here, man?
Now my uncle. That's what my uncles used to say. They used to watch a backfoot bitch and say, "Oh, he's a fucking ballerina."
Your dick in my ass means you're gay. My dick in your mouth means you're really gay.
You know who was one of the best? Watch Holyfield, man. That guy could really get down, jam.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He had great footwork, man. Great on his toes when he wanted to. I mean, yeah, he had great footwork. But we're not talking about Holyfield here. We're talking about Bivol and Beterbiev. So, fellas, we gotta get
just light on the toes. When they say you're light on your toes.
No, that's
twinkle toes.
That's right, something else, man. What are you talking about?
Bivol got twinkle toes.
So I think so far everyone said Bivol. So I think official. Did you go yet?
Yeah. Bivol, Kate Bivol is keeping him on his toes.
Oh, wait a minute.
So we got a unanimous decision for Bivol.
No, because I am gonna go. No, yeah, I'll go with Bivol as well. I mean, it's just the speed of like you guys were saying. I mean, they both have good footwork, but then all things considered, who has the better physical talent with it, and that's Bivol. I mean, he just has the quicker feet. So I'm trying to move it.
And you'll almost never see Bivol off balance. Kind of like Inoue. I would say Inoue is right up there with probably the second best, if not maybe tied. He's got excellent feet. Sometimes his aggression betrays him, or he gets a little lazy. But for just overall technique, like if I was to have a new kid and I'd say, I want to show you how to keep your feet, on the inside of your inside of your feet should be no wider than your outside of your shoulder caps. And they're both excellent at that.
I like to have
too wide of a stance.
Jimmy, you should have seen me in my prime. I was a ballerina mixed with a sniper at the same time.
Ballerina?
I'll tell you right now, anybody feel like Frank just said Holyfield was a great dancer? I believe that's what Frank was alluding to. It is true, because boxing is a rhythmic, it's a violent dance. That's all it is. That's why you don't have heavy metal playing at boxing gyms. They always have beat music, some kind of, something with a beat. That's what it's all about. You're fighting to a beat. You're getting somebody's timing. It's rhythm.
They used to call me the breakdancing king.
Nobody called you that
there
stuff.
You go.
Nobody called you.
Recognized was shadow boxing and what's that bucket hat?
I had the Cool J hat.
In the bubble jacket.
Yeah, yep. I had the windbreaker. I had the Puma windbreaker.
With the Adidas 3-bar Adidas.
Nah, you know it.
All right, listen. Let's get serious here. Let's get serious. We're playing around too much. We got to get serious here. It's serious business, this fight. You know what I mean? We can't be joking around. And now we're getting down to the serious part here. The chin. Who has the superior chin?
Dun dun dun.
Beterbiev.
Well, I'll go. So I think in this one, we've seen Beterbiev go down. We've seen him hurt. I've seen Bivol hurt, but we've never seen him down. He has the better skin, right? As we said, with the cuts. I'll go with the Mongol. He just overall got the tougher skin, tougher bone structure. You know what I mean? He has the iron. He has a iron stance style. You feel me?
I got you, man. I was playing sound effects, so I didn't. Hold on, I was playing sound. I was playing sound effects, so I didn't pay attention to. So, Sobers, who did you pick essentially? Sorry, man.
Right after the speech mode, we have to really get serious here. I wasn't paying attention.
The guy that's playing sound effects.
Oh man, Jimmy's got me, man. Jimmy's got my number. Now, Sobers, really, who'd you say?
I said the Mongol.
The Mongol. Okay, he says the Mongol. All right. Frank, who you were gonna say then?
I said Beterbiev, man. He looks like Wolverine. He has the iron jawline. I'm gonna go with him.
All right. So
I think if they were exchanging, he's the last man standing.
Huh. All right. That's two versus one. Because recognize you did pick Beterbiev, right? If I heard you correctly.
I picked Beterbiev, yeah.
There you go. All right. So it's between Jimmy and official here. Who wants to go?
Go, Jimmy.
Oh, you're putting the pressure on me. All right, my friend. All right, my Slavic friend. All right.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets.
I'm out in these streets. Oh my God. I don't fucking. You know what I mean? It's like shit. I don't really know because all right, Canelo hits hard. He caught Bivol with some big shots. I never really seen him that goofy that time, but he has been hurt in the past, but he's never been down. He's never got his fucking shorts dirty. So because of that, and only because of that, because this is like one of those things, how, you know, I don't know, man. And his stories of Beterbiev being rocked in sparring. But again, that's sparring stories. So, but again, yeah, like I said, I'm going to go with Bivol for the main reason. I've never seen him get his fucking trunks muddy. So
you're saying he hasn't shit his pants like Devin Haney? Is that what you're saying?
Well, he hasn't dirtied his trunks, man. I haven't seen him fucking get up off his ass. I haven't seen him on the canvas.
He never saw him soy himself, is what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what I...
Nothing but backboard there, Haney.
Official, you're next, man.
Yeah, I was initially picking Beterbiev, but man, I'm realizing he was getting hurt very often. It's only that his opponents were not following up with anything. So I will pick Bivol, but on the other hand, you can make an argument that maybe he's softer to the body, contrary to Beterbiev. But let's go with Bivol. Tough pick.
All right, now I suppose that for this category, it would help to again go over what each guy has had to absorb in their careers. And, you know, because again, you guys mentioned that both men have been hurt. So at the end of the day, maybe perhaps we have to ask, well, who's been more hurt? If that makes any sort of sense.
BDA, if I can, as we are talking, I'm rewatching his fight with Zinad. So Zinad is no big name, but he's surely hell of a puncher and a big guy. And he was eating only in the first 3 rounds. He was eating a lot of rights, clean rights from Zinad, and to my surprise, taking them extremely well. So that's also what encouraged me to pick Bivol, having a better chin.
All right, so let's watch then, if it allows me to play it here. You never know. Let's see when the second time Beterbiev hit the deck in his career, and that was against Callum Johnson, who was really trading with the guy. You got to give this Callum Johnson credit, man. That guy had balls trading with Beterbiev. So let's go here. All right, hopefully this plays here. Boom, they traded left hooks, and then, well, actually, let me play the whole. Yeah, so he got up kind of jittery. Beterbiev did. Let me just replay that for you here. Hold on a second. Yeah, this I'm doing. It's overloading here the PC a little bit, but no, that was after. What the fuck? That was after the knockdown. They actually started trading after the knockdown.
Yeah,
if you can believe that. What's going on here? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That was after the that was before the knock. Here's the knockdown again. Sorry about that.
All right.
He drops him, and look at how he gets up. See them stumbling.
His neck fell on the ropes.
Yeah, that he was hurt, man. I mean, the way he was stumbling. He looked like Tyson Fury after a Saturday night at the bar, man. I mean, come on, look at that.
He almost had $1 million baby moment, BDA.
Ah, come on. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Now, let's take a look at when Bivol got his ass rocked by Joe Smith. Now, it occurred in two separate occasions. Oh shit, now I gotta look for the clip. I thought I had it here. But yeah, it was in two separate occasions against Joe Smith, by the way. It wasn't just, I mean, a lot of people talk about the one scenario or the one case, but there were two. There was, like I said, there was one in the fourth round, and I'm going to show it to you here. Hold on a second. All right, here it is. See that? See how he did the stanky leg a little bit there? Let me rewind that for you.
Yep.
Right there. So that was one instance of him getting rocked. And then later on in the fight, I believe it was round 10. At the end of round 10, let's fast forward here. Right here. Catches a right hand. And that the bell rang, and look at him. Stumbling again. I know it's lagging a little bit, so I apologize, but you can sort of see he ate the big right hand. And if you look at the replay,
yeah, but
here,
why are you bringing up bullshit?
Look where it caught him. It caught him right in the temple.
Yeah.
Caught him right in the temple.
And Beterbiev's bread and butter, one of his main weapons is that coming over the top with the right hand. So I don't know, man.
Happened in with 30 seconds left, he would have went down.
That's what Joe Smith contends. He says, "Oh, if he would have been in the middle of the round," and I don't know. I think Bivol probably would have been.
Oh, there's some truth to it. There's some truth to it, but at the same time, I would tell him it didn't. That's not what happened then.
Exactly.
So you can't say for sure. But yeah, I think if that would have happened in the middle of the round, 30 seconds left on the clock, he probably would have had to take. He probably would have had to go down.
Yeah. Oh, but let's not forget too. Although this doesn't really have to do with chin, it's more endurance overall. But I posted I showed it in the last episode yesterday that Lyndon Arthur did hurt Bivol to the body with a straight right hand, and it visibly hurt him. I might try to play that one again. So what I'm getting at is both guys have been hurt.
Playing a little possum too. I saw that BDA. He might have been playing a little possum.
You think so?
At the same time, he was hurt a little. He was stunned. I think what it was, he was stunned to the body. Played a little possum to see if we could bait him in.
Yeah,
or throw him off. Or
that's
throw
what
him off.
That's what I said yesterday too. Yeah, I posited the same theory yesterday that maybe
great minds think alike.
There you go. Yeah.
What do you want?
Well, let's play that clip. Look at it. This was in the eighth round of the eighth round, 54-minute mark, 54 seconds left. Or excuse me, 54 seconds left in the eighth round. Shout out to Malik in the Discord. He's the one that pointed this out to me here. You're gonna see the right hand come in here just a little bit. Boom, right there. Because it's a little bit too obvious, right? A guy like Bivol making it too obvious that he was hurt. So that might. Is that the sound he made when he got hit with the right?
He might have been playing a little. He might have been playing a little marsupial.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I mean, then again, you guys know you've tasted body shots before. When you get hit to the body, it can make you react in a weird way. Sometimes you can't hide it. So I don't know.
I remember getting hit in the middle of the right in the middle, like grazed right in the middle of my chest. So you know when you're losing breath, but you don't want to make the wrong move because you know you're gonna go down and be like that. Right. And I had to do that for like about 30 seconds where the guy, I think he knew that I was hurt, but he wasn't 100% sure. So that whole 30 seconds was just spent like, don't make the wrong move. Don't lean a little bit down, because as soon as I do, that breath is just going to leave my body and I'm going to hit that floor.
Yeah, solar plex punch, they do suck because you can't grab air. But one thing about the solar plex, it doesn't take your legs though. Like a body shot to the liver, that turns your legs off. That's all of a sudden when your lower half of your body says, "Yeah, I'm done." You become a fucking paraplegic for a few minutes. Yeah.
Jamie's point, my worst memory from boxing, from sparring, I was sparring some guy who hit me in one session with like 5 or 6 liver shots. Actually never dropped me, but for the next 10 days I could not walk. Every single move I would make, every single step I would take, it would make me want to vomit. I was on the edge of vomiting for 10 days.
No, that almost sounded like a puppy song. Every move I make, every step.
That's exactly. I was about to say the same thing, bro. Every move you take, every breath you make,
Every shit you
you'll be
take,
missing.
yeah.
I'll be missing you.
Hey, by the way, that police. That police song, I actually went to an auction once where they were auctioning off. Sting was auctioning off like the notes, initial notes. In the first draft, it was every shit you take, I'll be watching you. Like he added that, but then they took it out because it was too, like too crass. So
I mean, just try to picture them in today's Me Too movement. I mean, it's a fucking complete stalker song. You know what I mean? It's like it's the stalker anthem.
Right. But I think it was even that would have been too crass. So I understand why they had to tone it down too, because it was already, like you say, it was already a weird song. So, but it's a catchy tune, so it sort of obscures and occults the meaning behind it. Okay, so Chin, yeah.
No, I was just saying, man. That's beyond love. If you want to see the woman you have affection for dropping a deuce, forget about it.
Hey, man, listen. Some people are into that. Some people are into
shit?
that. Some people are into that. Don't knock it till you've tried it. Well, listen, we got to get back to business here.
Oh, really?
We got to get back.
They don't knock it, you can smell it.
Ah, come on. Listen, we got to get back to business here. You guys are taking this show into a completely different direction. Chin, so what do we got here then? Because one guy's been dropped in Beterbiev and hurt. Then you got Bivol, who has been hurt multiple times but never hit the deck. So what are we doing here?
That's what I'm going completely off that, right? He's been down that one time, so you know what I mean. There's deductions for shit, and that's why I'm going Bivol and only that. And it doesn't mean he has a better chin, but because we can't really say other than that, I'm just going by what's happened. Yeah,
I got Bivol too.
So I'm going Bivol.
Yeah, I went Beterbiev.
Yeah, because you said he had those that
I got Bivol.
If they're exchanging, I mean, I think Bivol's chin gets cracked. If they start to exchange this fight, it'll be Bivol's chin who gets exposed.
Official said Bivol.
I'm going Beterbiev on that one because the Frank's theory. If they were to, and it's just a theory till it happens.
Right, he's gonna have the better chin in the fight. That's what you're saying, right?
You know what?
Right, like
Frank can recognize
more. So because he puts his chin out there more, and we see him take more shots, and he's been more successful than not. I'm gonna say that he has the reason why he does that is because he has the better chin.
You know what, Frank? Frank turned into Dora when making his speak. He's like, the chin. If you look at the chin, you look at the angle. He's Chad Maxing. He's got the chin. He's got the jawbone. He can score a bunch of Stacy's. He can score all the Stacy's.
Out.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm singling you and Dora out. No, but listen. I guess I'm going to have to go with what you guys are saying. The majority, the democratic process here, and I'll say that we'll go with Bivol has a superior chin. But I mean, that doesn't mean Beterbiev can't.
BDA, I realize you're an elitist. I've noticed that.
An elitist? What do you mean an elitist?
Yeah, you're kind of an elitist. Yeah.
I'm trusting the democratic process. What are you talking about? That's as far as elitist as it gets.
Okay.
Recognize is trying to provoke me to destroy my decorum, but it ain't gonna happen, buddy. It's entrenched in my spirit, so good luck trying to get it out. I will say that. All right, so Chin. So we got 2 left here, and then we're done. Finally. Stamina. Who has a superior stamina?
Bivol. Just for me only because I've never seen him sucking wind. I've never seen him breathing heavy.
I would say Bivol too. He has a higher activity.
Yeah. Up on his toes more. He does more movement. Beterbiev has gets people out of there sooner, so he's been in less long distance fights, whereas Bivol, half his fights go the distance. And you see him at the end of the fight, though, even when he's not sitting in a corner, he's not got his elbows on the ring ropes, sucking air. You don't even know guppying in any time. He always seems fresh. He seems as fresh with his footwork in the 11th and 12th as he does in the 3rd and the 4th. So, and it's only because we haven't seen Beterbiev go late into too many fights because he gets guys out of there. So I'm only going by what I've seen. So for that reason, I'm going to go Bivol.
All right, so we got two Bivols there. Who else wanted to go?
Yeah, Bivol can box all night. You know that the other saying. What I say, he can dance all night. If it's a boxing match, he can get on his toes and get out of there all night. You won't be able to catch him or stop him. Archer also with all the power shots sap your energy. So Bivol, he can just jab and move, and he can do that all night.
That's okay. So you're saying he's a superior ballerina? Okay. Who else?
There it is.
Who else has
that's 3 in the can for Bivol. That's already majority. So suck it.
3 in the can. That's what they say over in the Vatican.
You might not need my opinion. You might not need my opinion after 3.
Oh, you already put. I already thought you said Bivol.
No.
Oh, sorry, recognize. I apologize. Once you fire up, hammer down.
You should apologize. You should never assume.
I am.
I'm kidding.
Straight up.
I'm kidding with you, Jimmy. No, I got stamina. Yeah, stamina. Beterbiev.
All right.
He's been down. He comes forward. I think it exudes more energy to do it that way, while you're getting punched at the same time. You're allowing your opponent to hit you with bigger shots. So I got Beterbiev and stamina, but I think I'm gonna be the minority on that one. Give me my minority status. Right?
What are you on about today? Recognize you're all over the place.
I don't know.
Official, what did you say?
Somebody has to be the contrarian, in each category.
Exactly.
I'm picking Bivol for stamina.
Well, I'll say this, man. Beterbiev, Jimmy's right. Beterbiev, because he's never gone the distance ever in his professional career. It remains to be seen how much energy he has. However, he does fight at a good output. Against Uvalzik, the fight went pretty deep, and he was so A-OK. He was still rocking and rolling. Same thing against Yardy. Although I will say that against Yardy, and that was in 2023, early 2023, he was looking a little winded in the middle rounds. Like he had to really wait to get that second wind. I will say, however, and this is another thing that I wanted to get into, that Bivol, however, when he fought Canelo, Canelo would try to get him with those sledgehammer shots near the end of the fight, and he was there to be countered by flurries. And when Bivol would flurry, he was sort of what's the word I'm looking for here? I used it in the other episode. He was sort of flailing. He was flailing a little bit.
Flailing.
Yeah, he was flailing. So I'm thinking, it's maybe those shots to the arms got to him. And if those shots to the arms got to him against Canelo, and it was one sledgehammer at a time, how's he going to handle Beterbiev's shots? And also the other thing is, you cannot do the earmuffs in front of Beterbiev. He's going to break through that guard. I mean, that's what I expect him to do. If Bivol just stands there with the earmuffs, I could be wrong. Maybe Bivol's guard is better than we anticipate, but it's a big no-no. So Bivol has looked tired before, especially I've seen in certain spots when he flurries, and then an opponent really tries to get at him, he'll sort of move away more, and you can tell that he's taking a deep breath. So I don't think he can flurry non-stop, which could be trouble against Beterbiev. However, because of he's younger, because he moves more, and because he's gone the distance more times and has shown that he does indeed possess the big gas tank, I'm going to give the edge to Bivol here. So that's where we're at with that one. And by the way, I want to tell people to please hit the like if you're enjoying the show. I know we're almost at the end here, but if you've been enjoying everything, make sure to hit that like, subscribe if you yet to do so already. And I want to give a shout out to Chris K for his contribution with the super chat. He says, hold on a second. He said, Recognize taught Raygun all her breakdancing moves. Wait, Raygun, is that the girl from the Olympics?
From Australia, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Her parents thought it was the Special Olympics. They made a mistake.
Come on, man.
Man, that was probably the cringe of 2024. That was insane.
Well, 2024 is not over yet, man. We still got a long way to go. Shout out to Chris K again for his contribution with the super chat. He says, even a dodgeball to the solar plexus will win you. Oh, yeah, man. Anyone who's played soccer as a kid, you'll eventually accidentally get hit to the plexus with a soccer ball, and man, that takes the breath out of you, like it's another thing. By the way, I just noticed we got Gonzalo dropping by. Gonzalo, are you there? Guns, can you hear me?
Bobito.
I can't hear you, man. I don't even see your icon lighting up. I see your microphone going on and off, but I don't see the icon lighting up. Can't hear you, man. All right, well,
I
listen.
can't hear him either.
None of us can hear you, bro.
So it's not just me. Okay. Well, let's get down to the last category, and then we'll see if it works. But mental strength. Who has? In other words, okay. Hold on. Before people answer, I'm getting a communique here from the BD board of directors that are saying, listen, you got to keep it hip. You got to get with the in crowd. No, don't call it mental strength. They're telling me to go, who has? That's right. Who has?
Dog.
That dog. So let me just put it up here. The dogometer. Who has more dog? Beterbiev or Bivol?
Well, BD8. You said something, Beterbiev has his chick in check. And, you said Bivol, his chick was running the house. So I don't know. I think it's got to be Beterbiev.
Oh, okay. So how much would you give him from 1 to 10 in the dogometer? How much would you give Beterbiev?
Well, you see that. Just how he trains, man. They show the clips of how he trains and the bloodshed, those clips of him covered in blood with his arms raised. I think you have to go with him. Go ahead.
Because of that image? Okay, no, but how much? But hold on, the question was...
Beterbiev because of injuries and his stick-to-itiveness.
He didn't answer the question. I said from 1 to 10, how much you give Beterbiev on the dogometer?
Oh, 10 plus.
10 plus. All right. Jimmy, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, if you count coming back from injuries sap the fucking juice out of a lot of careers. Like that many injuries, a lot of guys just bail on their career. They just stop training because they just, once you get a severe injury where you need surgery, a lot of guys, he's had multiple surgeries. And he keeps coming back and he fights hard and he doesn't, and you look at the area, the country, the world he comes from, that's a lonely fucking cold place and shit. And yeah, no, I would put mental strength just to come where he is from where he came from takes mental strength. I don't know if you count that as intestinal fortitude, but overall, yeah, I'm going to give that one to Beterbiev. Eddie Munster.
Eddie Munster. Yeah, he's got the widow speak like a fucking Dracula.
Yes, he does.
Who else wants to go? Who says mental strength?
I'll go. To follow up on Jimmy, it's like Cypress Hill said. How do you know where I'm at if you haven't been where I'm from to understand where I'm coming from when you're up on the hill? Okay, you know the rest.
I don't know. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. You got to keep going. I don't know the rest of the lyrics.
Beterbiev, man.
Beterbiev. So he's saying he's got that dog. Who's gonna pick Bivol then and say? Who's gonna say? Just real quick. Who's saying then that Bivol has more dog? Who wants to be the contrarian?
That's me, buddy.
Go ahead.
That's me, buddy.
Well, look, man, he has to have more dog, bro, before that sentence he served under that female Hitler that he was attached to. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
He survived that, bro. So come on, Beterbiev, he probably got a chick that doesn't even. She probably, she wears a pillowcase over her head all day. So
pillowcase.
Probably already brain damage or something, dude. So
come on, man.
If anything, to say back.
Official.
Well, I already said Beterbiev.
You said Beterbiev. All right, Guns, are you there? Is the Guns there? Can we get a word from the Guns? Can we get a statement from the Guns? No, we can't. All right, well, listen. Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know, man. I'm gonna say Beterbiev just slightly because when you attack somebody constantly, you're opening up yourself up to counter punches, and Beterbiev just doesn't seem to care. So I'll give him the slight edge because of that, based on the dogometer. So we're gonna go with
mental strength. That encompasses that in like intestinal fortitude, all that type of shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I gotta tell you guys,
definitely Beterbiev.
I'm surprised
with those injuries.
But I mean, you could also say, you can make the good argument too that Bivol has good mental strength because to stay focused throughout a fight takes a lot of wherewithal too. and not get bored and not get guys like Zab Judah were extremely talented and they would get bored in between during the fight and just lose concentration. Bivol, I gotta give him give him credit for staying focused. However, guys, I'm looking at this second page here. I'm surprised at how many categories went to Bivol. Again, this doesn't mean he wins the fight, obviously, but it's just he edged it. He edged a lot of these categories in the second page. Now,
I can tell you something about Bivol. What I find is,
no, go ahead.
Well, I didn't even hear you talking, Mr. BDA. Sorry, I was in a dead spot. But yeah, no, my big thing with him is he does his 1-2 so well. It's almost like he's neglected his 3-4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His jab, his stick jab, and his overhand right, and his balance and his footwork. And I think he's been able to win so many fights with that. He's never developed other punches. I've seen fights with him, especially I went over this week and I started looking at his past fights, and I see so many spots for uppercuts or a shot to the body. He just doesn't throw them because he's not confident. It doesn't come in second nature because I don't think he's trained them enough. I think he's one of those guys, his bread and butter is his 1-2 and his footwork, and that's what he just sticks with. That kind of bothers me. You should always work on the stuff, like in the gym, when you're at your freshest, work on the things that you're worst at. I know, like, even in the gym working out, the body part you hate working the most is the one you should work the hardest. You do that first when you're fresh. A lot of guys will say, I hate that body part, and they put it to the end of a workout when they're already banged out. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, people. That's why some people take
my negative about Bivol.
Yeah, some people try to take the edge off. They try to take other substances to take the edge off. Let me tell you, I live on the edge. I need to be on that edge to be operating and to be at my best and to let people know that I dominate that gym. But anyway, that's besides the point. Hey,
you never feel more alive. You never feel more alive until you're on the fucking edge of death.
It's like in that.
Fucking motivation. We're gonna call you motivational BDA right now.
That's right. Yeah, this is motivational speaking BDA. I got that. Like that. What's the crocodile? That shirt with the crocodile that all the yuppies wear.
Eyes on.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, I wear that shirt, white. I wear brown slacks, and then I wear a headset when I give
and a members only jacket.
No, okay, no. I'm talking about motivational speakers where you get that headset and you're giving speeches in front of people. Yeah, guys, let me tell you.
Get the pictures in the car. I think of the Chinese guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, no, but listen. Let's get serious for a moment because we're almost done here. We've been on for 2 hours. Let's just recap what went on. So we were doing the comparative analysis. I'm showing page 1 here. So precision and jab went to Bivol. Rear hand hooks, uppercut, and body work went to Beterbiev. So no surprise there. In terms of offense, we went with Beterbiev. Now, when it came to corner, gave a slight edge to Bivol because he has some Russian guy that looks very wise. So we went on looks. And the fact that he's got Joel Diaz too on there, who looks like a real trainer with that bum eye. And cuts, that was a no-brainer. We went with Bivol because he's never really been cut before, whereas Beterbiev, okay, yeah, headbutts, whatever happens, yeah, but he's been cut, and he does appear to have the thinner skin. Then second page, we had speed went to Bivol, no surprise there. Power, no surprise there. Ring IQ, that was controversial because, both guys are very smart. But a lot of the majority won on the panel, and they said that ring IQ, the slight edge goes to Bivol. Experience, another slight edge to Bivol. Foot movement, because of the speed, it went to Bivol. Chin went to Bivol. Again, slightly, that was a big controversial point that we were discussing. Some people said that, well, Bivol's been stunned multiple times, whereas Beterbiev's only really gone down once. When he went down against Greg Page, he was essentially pushed. Stamina went to Bivol. I think most of us agreed on that one, but then mental strength, it went to Beterbiev. So I think we covered a lot of ground here, fellas. Anything else you guys want to say before we move on here? Anything we missed?
No, just adversity. Who's that was my take, is like who's faced the most adversity and who could deal with it best. And I never really seen Bivol deal with that much adversity. He's always been superior.
When it comes to dealing with his baby mom, so that's,
well, it looks like he lost that one.
Now, did you do predictions last night, Mr. BDA, for this weekend?
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, okay, so we did, but okay. First of all, I tried getting official scorecard boxer to give his prediction today. He doesn't want to. He's gonna backfoot bitch it, as he said. Recognize said. Hold on, let me put it up here. Recognize said. Recognize said Beterbiev late fight stoppage. You don't see mine there yet, but I said Beterbiev. That's my gut feeling. And yeah, that's it. So who wants to give their prediction next?
I'm going with Beterbiev. I said KO 10. My predictions have been off this year, but that's what I'm going with. That's what I had from the beginning, so I'm going to stick with it.
Beterbiev stoppage, you said?
Yes, Beterbiev in round 10.
Oh, round 10. All right. I like it. I like when people
I think,
round 10.
I think if it's going to be a Beterbiev stoppage, I think it'd be early. I think it'd be pre-6 rounds. Because I think if Bivol can handle his power past 6 rounds, he's can handle it the whole fight. Because you don't get your punch power doesn't get better in later rounds. Although Beterbiev, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got power through and through. But no matter who you are, how hard you punch, you lose steam on your punches as the fight goes late. So I do believe if Beterbiev stops him, which I believe he could, I think he'd stop him before 6, 7 the latest. But if it goes past that, if it goes to decision, I think Bivol could beat him in a decision. I think he'd beat him with the jab and the movement. So
Jimmy,
yeah, I'm still kind of yes.
Lance Meyer in the chat says, "I think you've been cooking the fucking books, Jimmy. Listen to you. I don't know what he means by that."
I am cooking the books. Yeah, I mean, I'm skimming off the top.
No, maybe that's what he meant. But I think you said.
Scaling.
So you're saying, but can I just say something about that? Because yeah, Beterbiev evidently is heavy-handed. However, I made a distinction yesterday that Golovkin, for example, a guy that's sort of Beterbiev-esque, he would drop guys early on with flash knockdowns, and then they would get on the defensive, but he would continuously keep cornering them and eventually break him down. But Beterbiev is really not that guy. Like when he stops guys early, it's because he stuns them and just ends up breaking them down. He rarely goes in there and drops, like top opposition, I mean. He rarely drops these guys early. He doesn't really have that flash knockdown type thing like an Inoue or Golovkin or even a Kovalev back in his prime. So, but your point still stands because he could still wobble Bivol and then the follow-up barrage just leads the referee to stop it or something like that.
Yeah, pummel him because I think if because what happens, you also get used to a power too. You know what I mean? If it doesn't put you out, you get used to it. It's like facing a pitcher who can throw 99 miles an hour. The more you face by the later innings, you get your timing on it better. It sucks your first time at bat. That's why you always see going through the fucking lineup, you're gonna strike out more guys in the early part of the game. You know what I mean? A pitcher's strikeout count's always highest in the first, run through the batters, just because they're trying to catch up to your speed. Mm-hmm. But once they get up and they face those 99 mile an hour, you can turn your hands over fast. You just get used to it, and that type of shit. So if he can survive his onslaught early, if he can take his power and doesn't get wobbled and hurt, I could see him taking a fight on points. It seems like everybody's saying Beterbiev so far. From what I hear, is everybody thinks he's gonna stop Bivol. Meaning, I don't think most people don't think he can win on points. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what you're hearing, man. Now I want to hear your prediction.
Well, what's your prediction? You said Beterbiev by stoppage.
I'm gonna play it safe for the moment. I'm gonna half backfoot bitch it, and I'm gonna say Beterbiev, just Beterbiev for the moment.
Just Beterbiev for the moment, huh? Well, right now, just for the moment, I'm going to go Bivol. How's that, you mofos?
Jimmy knows what he's talking about. When Jimmy talks, we listen. So you could, it's a 50-50 fight for a reason. I'll give it to you this way. When I'm picking Beterbiev, I'm not saying I'm picking Beterbiev and that's it. There's no way Bivol was. It's a 50-50 fight. I don't know.
Yeah, he was just about to. Yeah, you died off just when you said, I thought you were going to give me a good zinger. And then I
don't know where I left off, but what I'm saying is, when I pick...
I thought you said that.
Can you guys hear me? What I'm saying is...
Yeah.
what I'm saying is when I'm picking Beterbiev, I'm not saying Beterbiev and that's it. There's no way the other guy wins. It's a 50-50 fight for a reason. Because a lot of people are undecided. The odds are very, very close. They're close to 2-1 right now for Bivol. So even the bookies don't really know what to make of this. So when I'm picking Beterbiev, again, I'm not even giving you the how he's going to win it because I don't know if he's going to win it. I'm actually depending on you guys too to see, just hear you guys back and forth and hear the best arguments, and then I'll go, you know what? I'm going to go with the best argument made. So I'm going Beterbiev. Jimmy's going Bivol for the moment. Who else wants to go?
Earlier in the week, I was going Beterbiev, but now doing this little breakdown we did today, I'm switching over to Bivol. Bivol, the Mongol.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Bivol.
So
I like it.
Give me like a split
Bivol.
decision. I'll say that.
Split decision. All right. Recognize we already got your prediction.
No, I'm sticking with Beterbiev. 11th round TKO.
Whoa. Now you're giving a round. Okay, 11 round TKO. Official doesn't want to give it.
I'll just say that up till now, up till the show, I was picking Beterbiev, but you guys kind of reminded me of all the things that I forgot about that Bivol does well. So I'm kind of even leaning towards him. So I don't know yet.
All right.
I'm kind of with you. I mirror what official just said. Right now, I'm leaning Bivol, but as I'm not done watching tape on these guys, I just want to see a few extra things because I want to see if there's some punches. Because Bivol sometimes can he can drop his right when he throws his left. That bothers me, and I want to see. I want to see Bivol's but Beterbiev's left hook. I want to see if I haven't seen him lead off with it too much, but I'm just trying to go over some tapes to see, But that's the one thing about Bivol too. He does drop his right sometimes when he throws his jab, that's not the guy to do that against. You better be holding onto that earlobe the whole fucking fight.
Just to give you an idea. Just to give you an idea of how these fucking guys, these animals in the chat they're so perceptive. They catch everything. When I was writing on the list here, Mr. BDA, I accidentally pressed S. So it was Mrs. BDA, and people caught on to that like wildfire. And now they're telling me, now they're asking BDA, is there something you want to tell us? No, there's nothing I want to tell. Listen, it's Mr. BDA. There's no doubt about that. I'm not a product of a Z-Gen university, all right? There's no confusion here. Let's just put it that way.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. You can change it every day. It's fluid.
No. Not here.
They're on to you, BDA. They're on to you.
No, they're not.
They caught on to you.
They're onto themselves.
Who was it called you bidet? Who was it? Was that kid called you bidet last week?
Yeah, straight G.
Mr. Bidet.
Yeah, don't encourage him. Don't encourage that guy. A straight G.
Straight G is like,
straight G.
Yeah, straight G is like, Mr. Bidet. I think I meet Bidet.
Mr. Bidet.
Yeah,
Mr. Bidet.
He's like, Mr. Bidet.
By the way, we haven't heard from the Guns yet. Guns, are you there? Give us a sign that you're there, Guns.
Please, Guns.
Do Morse code. Hit a number.
Yeah, it ain't happening, Jimmy. I don't know. I guess
it's just people think like saying wait till people find out your name's really Bobby David Anderson.
What?
The whole time. Bobby Anderson, Mr. BDA.
Who was Bobby Anderson?
You, Mr. BDA, Bobby David Anderson.
Oh, okay, I get it. Sorry.
Well, I tell people that here, my friends and shit, because it's kind of hard to say, oh, yeah, he's my buddy I've been talking to for 5 years. Pretty intimate. What's his name? Oh, I don't know.
I think it's been 6 years.
So I said it's Bobby Anderson, man.
It's been 6 years.
Bobby David Anderson.
It's been
6 years. Yeah, 6 years.
I'll say
this,
he's
man. He's a really good guy, man. We're tight. We've had some deep conversations. The only thing I don't know about him is his name.
Ah, man, listen. You don't need a name. It's like Marlon Brando in Last Tango in Paris. No names. We don't need names. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, here's someone that's not your friend, Jimmy. Iron Templar, he says, shout out to him for his contribution to the Super Chat. He says, a man who practices the same kick 1,000 times is more dangerous than the one who practices 1,000 different kicks. So Jimmy is wrong. Bivol's 1 and 2 is enough. But wait a minute, didn't you pick Bivol? So how are you wrong if you're...
Yeah.
I don't... maybe I
don't know.
Maybe I misread it.
I said if there was things I could pick apart, because nobody's perfect.
Right.
No fighter is perfect. And I was saying because of the fact that it's been so dominant, which is a compliment, that he's never really had it develop a 3-4.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And because of that, I've seen him fighting, and I'm like, oh man, there was opportunities for other punches. I just don't think he's developed those other punches because he hasn't had to.
Exactly.
But this fight Saturday night, he might had wished that he developed those other punches.
Oh boy.
I think if he loses, it's because he didn't develop those other punches. Because Beterbiev can work past the 1-2s. He's smart enough to do that. So yeah, I keep going back and forth. So, but right for now, I got Bivol by decision.
By the way, shout out to Chris K for his contribution with the Super Chat. He says, BDA equals Bucho drops acid. Ah, come on. Now Bucho's getting caught with shrapnel. What's going on here? What did Bucho have to do with this? He's got some shrapnel now. Shout out to Chris K, a.k.a. Undercover Asian, for that. Now, I'll say this, guys. If you have
Asian.
Mr. Bidet, where is King Bacho?
Yeah, exactly. King Bachata. No, I'll say this, man. If you're having trouble making a pick or picking a guy, I'll say this. Go to Teddy Atlas's channel, YouTube channel, find out who he's picking, and pick the opposite of who's he's picking. Let's just put it that way, because this dude, I mean, I remember when he said...
Or Dan Cabanio.
Ah, come on. Poor Danny. No, but you know what? Teddy Atlas is the guy that said that Charlo was going to beat Canelo. So, I mean, take what... And I don't know. It's a weird... He's got a weird way of picking.
He's going to beat Canelo. He's got that fire.
He's got that fire. He's got that length. Yeah, okay, Teddy. Why don't you go scar that other side of your face? Hey, speaking of Big Dan the Showman, did you see Haymanite's tweet?
About Dan Rayfield? About Dan Rayfield?
The BDA on Twitter about him? Yeah. No,
about
Big Dan, Dan Cabanio, or whatever.
What
did you see it? He tagged you into it, so you haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't. I don't go on Twitter that much. Yeah. Let me pull it up.
Oh yeah, you should go. I'll go grab it right now. I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You send it because that's better. Hello. Oh, Gazelle, I can hear you, man. Gazelle, are you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Good to hear from you, man.
Yeah. Jimmy, recognize.
Hey.
Hi, Gonzalo.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Órale.
Gonzalo,
what up?
We need your magic, man. We need an official pick from the guns to make this list complete, man.
I'm gonna say Beterbiev 12th round knockout.
Whoa, specific right there as well. 12th round KO.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to stop. He just keeps going. He keeps going until he eventually gets what he's pursuing.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard not to pick a guy by knockout when he's always got the knockouts. So, I mean, it's one of those things that eventually it might turn out that he's not going to knock everybody out. But until that happens, it's kind of like one of those things like with Usyk, you know, in regards to like your ability to believe in that person and what he can do, especially at the highest level. I mean, you tell me, like, for example, a guy like Usyk, can he lose to any of the greatest heavyweights that ever lived? Maybe, but maybe not, because I haven't seen him lose.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's one of those things. Same thing with Beterbiev. Can he stop all his opponents? Probably not. But until I see that, I will always think that he will stop everybody. And, you know, he just hits hard. And it's a good fight. So, I mean, they're just going to both come at each other. I know that Bivol is going to get on the back foot too. But at the same time, he does come forward as well. And like you said, if he stops a little bit, Beterbiev is going to, if he just puts them arms up, he's going to catch him against the rope and it's going to start beating up them arms like Canelo did. But even harder.
Well, the guns has spoken. And I got to tell you, I'm also waiting for Shazar's predictions and Emeritus Mullers from the Discord, because those guys usually get their predictions right as well. Sometimes even right down on the money, which makes me wonder if they're secretly oracles. Maybe they're in contact with the spirit world, as above, so below. And these guys know something we don't. I don't know, but I always trust your guys' predictions as well. So I'm undecided here. I'm a little undecided, a little bit. But we'll see, man. I'm looking forward to this fight.
Sometimes it doesn't sound like you're too confident about us. Sometimes it doesn't sound that way.
Well, I mean, listen. No, what
Mr.
are you talking about? Yeah.
I put it, if you go in the chat, if you hit the chat bubble, you'll see the
okay,
the
now
tweet.
Give me the context about this. What's going on here?
It's because he's such a fucking brown nose and fucking fanboy posing as a journalist, and that fucking Davis Roach fight is a big fucking turd. So it's for him to say, oh, it's a great fight, but he even has it with the thing like it's a great fight. But he has a clothespin over his nose. See the bitch with the big fucking.
Yeah, I see it. I can't miss it. I'll say this, man. I'll say this about the Tank Davis fight and the people that are trying to defend. First of all, the Tank Davis fans have been very invested in saying that. Oh, whenever Shakur Stevenson or Haney or anyone else mentions Tank Davis' name, they always mock him for saying, oh, you see, these guys are chasing Tank Davis. They need Tank Davis. Now that he's fighting Lamont Roach, another guy coming up from a lower weight division, they're trying to justify by saying, well, it's because he had no one else to fight. And I'm thinking, well, there you go then. He needs the top guys as much as they need him. He's not Canelo. He can't do 600,000 pay-per-view buys fighting a guy that's really disinteresting to the casual observer. He needs to fight a Shakur Stevenson. He needs to fight a Devin Haney, a Ryan Garcia. Otherwise, this type of fight. So, in other words, his fans are tacitly admitting that. And he did this to himself because this is the same path that he's been on for the past 6-7 years. So, I understand why Jimenez would do this about the Dan Kenobio. Because, listen, he criticized Steve Kim a couple of years ago when Steve Kim, Mario Lopez had Paulie Malignaggi on the show, the 3 knockdown rule, and they were talking about why Paulie Malignaggi got fired, which was in part, it was a lot of things. It was him criticizing Wilder and him refusing to criticize the police situation with George Floyd. And Paulie Malignaggi was making a point about how, look, with the whole George Floyd thing, when the cops tell you to lie down, you can't resist and tell them, well, give me 2 seconds. And that, he was saying it in a funny way about how when he was a kid, he would get the crap kicked out of him by cops. And so that made Lopez and Steve Kim laugh, along with Paulie Malignaggi, and that people took that and they extrapolated like, oh, they're laughing about George Floyd's death, which is obviously taken out of context. And if people didn't really understand that, and they were doing it on purpose, and that's a malicious intent right there, to take it out of context and claim that they were laughing at George Floyd.
Well, they even backtracked on it too, Mr. BDA. One guy said, well, yeah, okay, clearly they were laughing at Paulie Malignaggi, but they were literally just talking about George Floyd. Like there should have been some reverence to that career criminal junkie who put a fucking pistol to a pregnant woman's stomach.
Right. And so what I'm saying is, Dan Kenobio then said, he put out a very enigmatic tweet, so as perhaps not to put himself out there too much. And he said, why are these guys talking about this on the boxing show? Why are they laughing? Why am I not surprised? So in other words, he was castigating them as well for and obviously taking out of context what they said. So he wants to be a journalist, but you can't really be a journalist when you start.
Just a cocksucker.
When you start taking these type of political stances, and you're a boxing journalist, you're not you're not working for the New York Times here, the political division, the social division. You're a boxing thing. And then he took another thing I take umbrage with, and I go back to Larry Merchant. The days of Larry Merchant are gone. A guy who was an analyst and a journalist in his former life. He would call fighters by their first name. I mean, their second name, their last names. Because he always said, I don't want to get too close to these guys because, I got to report objectively. I can't be their friends. Meanwhile, I see a caption from Dan Kenobio in the build-up to the Frank Martin fight, I believe it was. He's next to Tank Davis. He goes, made a new friend today. And I'm thinking, you can't really, you can be friendly with these guys. You don't have to be a cocksucker to them. But to say, I made a new friend. So it brings up the whole issue of, are these guys in a position where they have to get interviews, they have to get these exclusives, and so they have to brown nose a little bit. I know it's the name of the game; everyone does it to a certain degree, but yeah, man, to sort of defend Tank Davis' situation when he had 6 years to be fighting the best, he hasn't done it, and now finally that he tried to get Lomachenko turned the tables on him and said, "No, you know what? I'm not playing this game." Now all of a sudden we got to defend Tank Davis. I don't know. That to me,
Yeah, terrible take. Well, Lomachenko didn't want to fight him, but left out the major. It's just so ridiculous to leave out the fact that Lomachenko, Davis straight out ducked him for 6 years. Straight ducked him. Multiple fucking contract offers. Multiple invitations to fight. Doesn't mention that. And to say you had to make a new friend today, first off, just that in itself is just gay. But then just put that off to the side. Why would you want to count fucking Tank Davis as a friend? Would you hang around? That's somebody you'd hang around with? Hey, what are you doing later tonight? I don't know. I'm going to get drunk, smash my fuck car up into some pregnant chick, and then leave her standing there covered in blood.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jimmy. That's a great point. So Steve Kim, Mario Lopez, and Malignaggi are awful people for laughing out of the way he was saying, describing the fact that you're not supposed to resist against the police, even if you're in the wrong, because there's a lot of cocksucking cops out there that are tyrants, essentially. But the last thing you want to do, whether it's with a good cop or a bad cop, is resist, because now you're giving them grounds to fucking assault you. Second of all, yeah, you're right. So those guys are, Lopez and Steve Kim are detestable people for saying something, or laughing rather. But a guy who actually did something, running over a pregnant woman and then running away when she's asking for help and bleeding, that's a guy that you want to be friends with. I mean, I don't know. You got to see again. You got to be careful.
He's a weasel of the highest order.
Oh,
like literally, the dude makes my skin crawl. And I don't take much shit personal with that fucking shit and boxing, this whole thing. But that dude literally makes my skin crawl.
Whoa.
Just in his fucking personality and a lot of the shit he says. And exactly, mainly because of what he said about Steve, when it was clearly like, they said the George Floyd thing, Paulie Molly gave his 2 cents on that, but then he moved on to his own personal interaction with police, and they laughed about Paulie's interaction. So for him to, like you said, extrapolate it, well, he must be racist because he laughed that close after someone mentioned George Floyd. It just goes to show you how much of a pandering weasel, but that's because he knows nothing about boxing. Literally nothing. You know what I'm saying? So,
listen, I don't want to.
He's the worst part of boxing. He's everything about boxing journalist that sucks.
Whoa.
I mean, he wouldn't even have made it back in the day. Like, people wouldn't have, like Steve said about him, Steve doesn't hide his feelings about him because his father owns CompuBox. And because of his connections, that's the only reason why he was ever even taken seriously, even given an opportunity. But like Steve said, and I think it's the best description, he was a kid who was born on third base and thinks he hit a triple.
Oh,
it's the perfect analogy.
Well, listen, I don't want to turn this guy into a punching bag here, but I see somebody in the chat, Luke R, is saying, Luke R, yeah, I know. We got Lowell, Massachusetts, Jimmy today. Luke R in the chat says, that guy was insulting Loma for saying his CompuBox stats were crap. I don't know about that. I don't. Listen, if I don't jive with a guy on Twitter or some guy's opinions, I just don't read them. So I'm not too familiar with everything he said. But I'll say this about CompuBox. I remember when Hopkins fought Calzaghe, they had Calzaghe landing 200-something punches. And Hopkins was baffled. He said after the fight, look, if this guy landed 200-something punches on me, my face would be looking a little differently than it does now, which was clean. He looked like clean as a pixie after the fight. So yeah, CompuBox, you take it with a grain of salt. So I don't know what went on with Loma and this dude, but I wouldn't be surprised because some people live or actually they swear by CompuBox as some sort of exact science, which is not. It's a bunch
we know what Dan's doing. He's the Jake Donovan replacement, the way Jake used to fucking suck up to the chicken squawk people. You know what I mean? That crowd, until Spence lost and that kid lost his mind and went on a racist rant about Jews and white people and black supremacy, and they're kicked off Twitter. So that's the type of thing. He panders to that crowd, to the Ray whatever Jackson in that side of Twitter, because it's easy to get a lot of retweets from those guys. All you got to do is just say something negative about a European fighter, and then you're just going to get all their following.
Well, I'll say this, man. In today's boxing climate, especially on Twitter and everything, again, it's all about these guys want to interview boxers, and there's a market for that. There's people that, you look at Fight Hub and all that, these videos where they're interviewing Bivol and Beterbiev and all that, 50,000, 100,000 views. To me, that's boring because, like, for example, Beterbiev, Bivol, I don't really care about what they're saying in the build-up to the fight because it's always the same thing. I am great preparation, the best preparation of my life, and blah blah blah. And you think, okay, they're never gonna tell you the truth, which is, I think I caught a cold 2 weeks ago, and I'm still not fully recovered, or my wrist kind of hurts. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to turn over the right hand. They're not gonna tell you that. They're always gonna tell you it's the best camp ever. They're in the greatest shape of ever. Bivol's not gonna tell you that his wife is really ball busting him throughout this fucking whole camp. Everything's honky dory. So they always tell you the same thing, and of course they're not gonna tell you how they're gonna win the fight. They're not gonna tell you that the plan. So you're left with guys asking questions like, how does it feel to be fighting in front of so many fans next week? Or how does it feel to be fighting for the undisputed light heavyweight champion? It's like, come on. Do I really need to hear this?
What is it like to be the most feared power puncher?
Right. So, but listen, there's something out there for everybody. I'm not negating that. I'm not putting that down. All I'm saying is that's the business. That's the reality.
Even pedophiles have organizations.
No, okay, but come on. What I'm saying is, geez, Luis. What I'm saying is, that's the reality of the boxing world right now. That's the name of the game. Get access to these fighters, ladder them up, butter them up, lick their ass, and that way you get more attention, more retention for your tweets, your YouTube videos, blah blah blah. That's not for us over here, but again, I don't lambaste people for getting in that business. But I don't know. I'm curious to hear from other people. Then we open this kind of worms. What do other guys in the panel think about Jimmy's point of view here?
Well, official scorecard. Repeat what you said about him.
I don't know. All the worst. All the worst. He's a fucking cocksucker.
Oh.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Jimmy.
Well, there you go.
Who are we talking about?
What's his name?
Dan Cabobio. Dan the shill man. He's an absolute shill. Pandering. Dan the pandering man.
Come on, Rayfield.
Not that fat slob.
He said no. Dan Canobio from CompuBucks.
Everyone's
talking of Dan Rayfield. I said, why hasn't he stopped eating?
Nah, recognize we're not talking. He heard us the first time that we weren't talking about Dan Rayfield, but he just continued because he wanted to get that joke in. But I know. I think Frank, were you gonna say something about that?
Yeah, I seen that guy Canobio say that nobody wants to fight Stank Davis. So yeah, it's clearly pandering. They'll go wherever they think that, like Jimmy said, they'll get the likes and retweets. This is why clowns like Bill Haney can go and say stupid stuff on different various outlets, and they give him a platform. Like, come on, man! Like these guys are clowns.
Yeah, because here's my thing. So is he the face of boxing and everybody wants to fight him, or now all of a sudden? So maybe he should clarify that statement. Is he saying that in this particular scenario, it was impossible for Tank Davis to get a fight because Shakur Stevens is injured, Lomachenko is out of commission, he doesn't really doesn't know if he wants to fight or not, Ryan Garcia's got pending legal issues, Devin Haney's too busy getting into fights with Mexicans in the carnival. So if in that scenario, I understand. But to all of a sudden have Tank Davis play victim when we've heard so many people say that he's the face of boxing. Now all of a sudden, nobody wants to fight him? I don't know. It seems to some people, and I'm not saying Danny Boy is falling victim to that, but other people are making it to be like, oh, people are scared of Tank Davis. But 6 months ago, it was, everyone's cloud chasing Tank Davis. Everyone wants to fight him because he's the face of boxing. So now all of a sudden, he's a boogeyman. I don't know. It seems like things change during a millisecond in this boxing world.
Mr. BDA, I would like to ask Dan Canobio, was still Loma the problem for the past 8 years? Was he the main reason why Tank Davis was not able to get a single significant fight?
That's a good question. I mean, I've said it before, official. I've said it before. Loma is the guy that you've never heard anything about him making negotiations difficult. If anything, he'll actually make them easier, like with Teofimo Lopez when he was asking for more money. And Loma said,
Pinocchio. Or whatever his name is.
Hold on. I'm saying something here. Lomachenko is the guy that's... when Teofimo Lopez wanted more money, Lomachenko said, yeah, fine, whatever. Just give him whatever he wants. Let's make it happen. You've never heard Lomachenko complain about the size of the gloves, the ring, where the fight's taking place. He says when and where, that's it. So for all of a sudden now, for people to turn on him after 8 years or something like that, of being the utmost professional, and now all of a sudden lambaste him and try to heckle him for, he's afraid of Tank Davis. That's bad journalism. If we're going to call these people journalists, then we got to say too that they're bad journalists.
Exactly. And there's the tsunami of receipts. Sorry, go, brother. Oh, no, go. I was just saying there's plenty of receipts. That tweet Heyman did with Heymanites with him on the Tank Davis on the bench talking to the black girl from fucking Tom Hanks movie, Forrest Gump, and 2020 came, and I didn't fight him again, and it was like all these literal receipts with his Floyd saying no, of like saying why he's not going to fight Lomachenko, and this went on for year after year after year. They ducked Lomachenko in 3 different ways. Well, in 126, 130, and 135, they ducked him. And all of a sudden now, when Lomachenko's been completely burnt out, and I want to add too, yes, I give Garcia, and I don't give a shit about that drug. He beat the shit out of Haney. But Haney, I want everybody to know, he lost that fight going into that. He was already mentally broken from that fucking Lomachenko fight, because don't buy the fucker or drink the Kool-Aid. When he was alone at night or talking with his father, they went over the fact that he knows he was outboxed in every facet. You don't go to your corner, sit down, go, man, nothing I can do, it's not working. He knows he was up against the superior boxer in every capacity, and he knows he lost that fight. That's why he ran out of there like he was beating a fucking restaurant tab. Fuck him. It was so when everybody says he lost, so yeah, he lost mentally he was already broken after that fucking Lomachenko fight, and then fucking Garcia put the cherry on top with the physical beating.
By the way,
absolutely. And go on, BD. Sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead. We're almost at the end here.
I just wanted to say, and right now, Loma exiting the negotiations with Tank. It's not as if he exited. He left a reasonable negotiation. No, he did it because Tank was asking 50 million. That's the reason why.
Exactly.
Well, that's a rumor, right?
Constantly
Isn't that a rumor?
dicking him around. Crazy. He was asking for crazy money, and he saw the writing on the wall. They kept, like, the Tank's notorious for that. Garcia is the first one that can say it. Every time they were close to being signed. We kept seeing the news. That fight's ready to be signed, and all of a sudden you hear about Tank making another demand. And Lomachenko said, no, dude, the sport's already fucked me. Going to the United Kovalev with Ward, Triple G with Canelo, and then fucking Lomachenko with Haney. And it's been a non-stop thing. So his spirit, I'll admit, was broken. Crowd fighting his Haney, tweeting out to him crying like he did something. Who had the real tears at night, because at least when Lomachenko puts his head on the pillow at night, he knows he beat your ass, and he was the superior fighter as the little guy.
Listen, that's Haney told.
Talk about trying to make fun of Lomachenko because he got robbed. What about his ass getting beat and suing fucking Ryan Garcia for battery?
Well, what about shitting his pants during a fight too? I mean, that's
shitting his pants during the fight.
Yeah,
he's never going to be the same. Never going to be the same. Bro, ever. And that's why he's trying to get as much money as he can right now, because he knows he has to. I mean, he's one more loss away to becoming a fucking gatekeeper.
Haney is finished. You heard it from me. He's finished. He's the bottom of the barrel. He's that crab in the bottom of the barrel.
You're here because you got nothing. You got nothing in court. You don't got the bookkeeper. You got nothing.
Nothing.
And if you were a man, you would have done it now. You don't got a thing, you punk.
There you go. I guess that's what Garcia is saying. Well, listen, we covered all our bases here. We talked about the Beterbiev. Bivol. By the way, Boxing Chief is saying he's sending me a communique here saying Beterbiev late round KO. So I mean that means like late rounds, like late fight stoppage. So that's what we've got right there. If anybody still wants to make some predictions, feel free to leave them in the comment section of this episode. And that's about it. We had a full house here. Shout out to official Gonzalo who dropped in. Recognize Never Sobers, Jimmy, Frank Bay.
Yo.
All right, and
thank you. Peace out.
Yay. Oh, man, come on. Now you're going to make me look for the fucking sound effect, man. Where is it? Fuck.
It's ski.
No, I'm doing the Confederate. Yay!
Oh, okay. I thought you were. Hold on, that's it. I'm looking for, man. I used to have it at the ready here. Where was it?
The rebel yell.
No.
I said nigga never.
No, that's not it. Where is it, man?
It's not right. Whoa. It's not cool.
Ski.
No, that's not it.
How about getting with the program? You don't know very much, do you?
Where's the ski you from Demetrius Andrade? I know I have it here somewhere.
You fucking weasel!
Hold on, where is it? No, that's not it. Hold on. Where is it? I guess I want to. Like,
Well, you're
now I
looking for
got
that too.
Yeah.
I just want to add one more thing about Dan. When Wilder was in his
here we go.
height of that absurdness about the cheating, which he's still on. I mean, even recently, up until his last video put out by the LDBC, when he was like, "They try to kill me, boys." Y'all saw that? Like, they try to kill me.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he's still on there with his like little fucking circle jerk echo chamber. And I mean, that's the reason why things turned out the way that's called karma. But I just want to say, Dan actually tweeted out, boxing is better with Wilder in it. So instead of calling him out for his lies and his just bullshit and embarrassing the sport, his only contribution to all that was the sport is better with Wilder in it. Oh my God, dude! When you're done with your interviews, do you use a sock or you just spit in a cup?
Come on!
Out of here.
Come on, Jimmy, man. See, we got. I don't know. Jimmy came into the show. He had his pizza. I expected him to be happy with his pizza, but instead he's going after everybody. Jeez Louise. All right, but listen, Jimmy makes some excellent points.
Did you use the curtains?
Okay, come on. Yeah, no. All right, listen, we gotta go. This is getting out of control here. But like I said, shout out to all the guys in the panel, everybody who gave us their predictions. Again, if you want to leave your prediction in the comment section of this video, I'll take the time to compile them later on and see where we're at with these predictions. Just to remind people that most people that listen to this show, I'm just gonna stick to this show, are picking Beterbiev, and of course, many of them by stoppage, but I remember the last 50-50 fight, well, before the Usyk Fury fight, but I remember that wasn't really 50-50. Most people were picking Usyk, but Crawford Spence, a lot of people were, saying Spence stoppage. Most people were saying it was either Spence by stoppage or Crawford by decision. And it turned out to be Crawford who was too much for Spence. So is it possible that we get a one-sided beating from somebody this Saturday?
And who's that Guinea who picked fucking Crawford by stoppage? Oh, yeah, that was me.
There you go. Jimmy's feeling his oats now.
Here you go.
Jimmy's feeling his oats.
Toot, motherfucker.
I also want to mention something real quick. If Dmitry Bivol, got a little bit of a background noise, was American and he got on the back foot, maybe he get the credit if he slightly or like totally outboxed. Obviously, if he totally outboxed him, he would get the victory. But if he slightly would outbox Beterbiev, if he was American, he would get the win. But since they're both Russian, nobody's getting the benefit of the doubt. If you get on the back foot, you're going to get penalized.
That's a good point, Jerry Gonzalo. Yeah, I remember when Navarrete beat Valdez quite comfortably. Instead of saying he dominated Valdez, Mexican war, Mexican battle, Mexican shoot, I'm thinking, what shootout did I see? I seen Valdez all busted up and Navarrete beat him handedly, and he didn't have to back foot bitch it. I really, just non-American fighters just don't seem to get the respect they deserve based on their skills. Especially Beterbiev. But anyway, by the way, I found it here. Hold on a second. There you go. All right, listen, fellas, we got to go. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody who's jumped in the panel. Don't forget to hit the like. It really helps us out. Don't forget you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and Spreaker at your leisure. And that's it, fellas. Let me just check, actually, last thing, if I forgot a super chat. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody. Oh, yeah, sorry, excuse me. Amok, shout out to Amok PvP who said BDA equals Benito Diego Alvarez. He's coming close. He's coming close to discovering my real name. That's for sure. Benito. Oye, Benito.
I like it.
Benito.
Good
no
one,
seas pendejo.
Greg. I like it.
Yeah, these people used to say, it reminds me, Benito, no seas pendejo. I'm like, nah, not me. But anyway, listen, fellas, we got to go. Shout out to all of you. The Quack says, give us a toughening up, BDA Boxing. Well, listen, I will. If you guys don't let us go here, we got to go. We got lives to get to. So shout out to you, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. We'll try to be back with another show before the fight, hopefully on Friday. I don't know if I'm going to have the time to do it, but hopefully Bucho has the time to host an Open Lines Friday in the build-up to this fight. And that's it, fellas. Saludos. Thanks for watching us.
Benito, a.k.a. BDA.
Benito Juarez. Nah, listen, I'm ending the show.